Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to, I guess, Amateur Sumo Breakdown. Kyle, this is what we've joked about as our new show, right?
Yes, sir.
Back when I had you on the show like 3 weeks in a row or something like that.
Yeah, and somehow I just magically became the co-host. So
just magically,
now I'm
yeah.
just one of the podcast people.
Exactly. So I'm Jake. I'm here with my co-host Kyle and our guests on Amateur Sumo Breakdown. Sumo Punx, how are you guys doing?
Hey.
Doing great.
Awesome. And we have Sake and Sumo.
Yay! They brought the amateur hour.
It is literally amateur hour.
Hello, sucking sumo.
So yes, literally amateur hour. I would be just bewildered if we managed to keep this to only an hour. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you can see by the length of the video that this is probably well over what we were allotting. But we are assembled, we are gathered here today to pay our respects to accomplishments in amateur sumo wrestling in the year of our Lord 2023. So,
Yes.
The year of our Lord Hakuho.
I mean,
I know.
I feel like we've had 20 or so of those in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, our Chaos Lord Shodai.
Enough pro sumo talk here.
Our Sith Lord, Hakuho.
Wait, hold on. This is amateur sumo breakdown. I don't talk about pro sumo. This is well established. I don't care.
I don't know who these people are. I have scrubbed
we're
that
already
from my
breaking
brain
the
for the
rules.
evening. So, we did this last year. Go check it out. We had, let's see, I think last year it was me and Caleb and Matt and Sabrina. And we are expanding a little bit every year. So by 3 years from now, I think everyone in amateur sumo will be part of the show, which will
It's
Be a
gonna be like
blast.
20 damn people.
That's true democracy.
it'll be
Yeah.
a 24-hour live stream because we're all just shooting the shit the whole time.
No, dude, it'll be a straight up like what do you call it? The Emmys, you know, we'll all be in in fake tuxedos. We'll be in fake tuxedos.
Me and Matt,
Thank you, Matt.
dressed
Yeah.
up for the occasion.
We'll be at a little dining area, and then you get up and actually get a little thick boy award.
Wait a minute. Is that a centaur sumo tori?
You never
Yes.
seen those?
Did you
Mine has a pink
that?
butt.
Oh, he's amazing. And then here's the best part. You can squeeze him and he makes
All the time. We love them.
All right, I
is
think
it
I figured out what the
getting off
prize
track?
should be
It
for
is.
these awards.
We need to make an actual a sumo guy award as this thing gets bigger. Like seriously, every year that it just has to go out.
Yeah.
Just say.
But
why does it
look like
a no-show?
Yeah. Speaking of awards, why don't we start off the evening with an award that will not be very dramatic because this one's kind of obvious. So our first award, we're going to talk about the Women's Wrestler of the Year. In 2023, we have a couple nominations that are there for, I guess, filling out the category because we have a gimme. If you're listening to this show, it's because you care about amateur sumo, and you probably have a guess where this award is going.
Oh yeah.
So why don't we go through a couple of our other nominees who are absolutely valid nominees. It's just that this year we know who it's going to. So-
Here's where you put the little breakaway to nominees of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So we make all of us real small as I'm reading from the card, and we have like highlight matches of Helen Del Popolo, winning let's see, what division was it this year? She won lightweight this year.
Lightweight this year.
So I think she's won 3 different weight classes and
Yeah.
a total of like 10 plus national titles.
Yeah.
And yeah, she came to nationals this year, went undefeated, and went back to Japan for the millionth time for world titles. Incredible career. Also going to Japan was Christina Griffin-Jones. Christina, let's see, what other tournaments did she do? She was at the
Consulates Cup.
she was at the Consulates Cup. She was at the SoCal Open, helping run the first San Diego event down there, and they are looking to do that again this coming year, Honu Sumo.
See you in 2 months.
February this year. Or next year, I guess.
Yeah,
Next year for another week.
This coming year.
2023 is done. We're done.
And we also have a nominee, Itan Perez, who is your teammates at Dallas Sumo and first-time Texas state champion. Itan was everywhere.
Oh yeah.
What's that, Caleb?
She dominated Texas State champion this year. No one was even close to her. By like tournament 2, she was like, "I got this."
Yeah.
Even just at this most recent tournament, it was funny. She would just dominate somebody and then help them up and pat them on the back, be like, "You did good." You know?
Yeah, no, she's also the champion of braiding people's hair, which I really appreciate because I am not good at braiding. So if you ever are at an after party after a tournament with Itan, you will get your hair braided.
She's got some
going
really
to happen.
nice French braids.
Well, maybe not some of you, but the ones who have hair.
Yeah.
She braided Rick's beard.
I was like, this won't happen.
Beard. She'll braid
So
that.
I first heard the story of Itan stress braiding coming back from Worlds because one of the things that the rest of the team did to like help her stay focused and stay in the moment was they sat her down with the winner of this award. Nice transition, Jake. Kellyanne Ball.
Yeah.
So she sat down and braided Kelly's hair just as like getting ready for the day, and Kelly showed up with some fly braids on the day of competition. But so like I said, this one was kind of a gimme because not only was Kellyanne dual national champion in heavyweight and open weight, but she is also the first individual world medalist in women's sumo from the United States. And she did it
Can I
twice.
make a small correction?
What's that?
Two-time world medalist. Two-time world medalist.
I was correct. I was correct. I said that she was the first medalist. She was also the second individual medalist.
Yeah. No
Man,
shit.
Gold medals altogether. She's gotten 3 now in 1 year.
Yep, 3
Yeah.
international medals.
No U.S. people, period, that have that many world medals. And she did it.
She is the GOAT. She is the bar.
Yeah, like this award should like already next year might as well be called the Kellyanne Ball Award for
Kellyanne
Women's
Award.
Wrestler of the Year. Yeah.
Calm down.
Also, I wanted to mention she got Matt and I some really lovely housewarming gifts. Her and Brenda did when we moved into our new house, and that also makes her cool. So, I mean, I'd say it's about on par with all the medals, But
2 equal achievements, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly equal.
But no, Kellyanne, so I believe it was bronze in individual heavyweight at Worlds, bronze in the team competition, along with Christina, Itan, and Madison. And then just 2 weeks later at the combat games, she got silver.
And then just got on an airplane. And and just did it again.
I just went to another country.
Just another country and just did it again.
She medaled on her 3rd continent of the year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no shit.
Pretty fucking impressive.
I want to point out though, if you're watching the World Championships this year, it was Christina that got us all pumped up because after a bunch of losses, it was Christina Jones that came out, beat the crap out of the first girl she faced, and it was already in the finals. And all of us online, we were all talking like, "Oh my god, we can win something!"
They set the pace.
It was Christina Jones that finally got us all pumped up.
And Christina can just win on vibes alone. That
that's
girl
true.
is, I mean, she lifts everyone else up with herself. That's all 4 of the girls on the women's team. We can talk about that later, but I just love all those girls. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But definitely Kellyanne for bringing home all that hardware for sure.
Yeah, leading the charge to make the United States a force in women's sumo, and incredible year. Like I said, this particular award, not super dramatic. We all knew that one was coming.
Yeah, easy.
To follow that up, this one is another one that doesn't have a ton of drama to it, but the Women's Youth Wrestler of the Year. Not as many nominees here. There was kind of a clear standout. Our women's youth lightweight champion, national champion, was Zariah Whittington out of Houston.
Zoo.
H-Town.
Then also went to Japan and competed there. And
By
that is-
herself.
yeah,
went out to
exactly.
Japan
By herself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a young girl who traveled internationally, both to Japan and to the Middle East by
14?
herself.
Is
14.
that how old she is?
No, she's 15 now. But
14,
yes,
15?
yeah. Yeah,
Still,
yes,
like
yes.
to travel across the world by herself. You know,
Yeah.
she had like other people who were traveling to these events too,
More
who were
sumo
kind of
crew,
keeping
yeah.
an eye out for her. But yeah, you know, that's pretty impressive. I know when I was like 14, 15, I would have literally pissed myself if I had to jump on a plane and go to Japan
Yeah.
without any adult supervision.
No kidding.
I'd be like, I am now just, I don't know, a worker in this country. I don't know where I would be. Yeah.
I've been
I
sold
would
This
have
is
been
where I
like,
live now. Yeah.
yeah.
But
This is
the
where I
I
live
did
now.
want to tell one story about Zarya real quick.
go for it.
When we were at nationals, I was handling the weigh-ins and I was handling the brackets and everything. And there was only one other girl in the youth women's division at nationals this year. And she comes up to me and she's just like, "Hey, yeah, I wish there were more people." And I was like, "Well, tell you what, if you will wrestle, I'll sign you up for the adult league, adult division." And she's like, "Wait, you'll do that? Well, you sure about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just cover it for you," and took care of that. And then I was like, "Hey, any chance you want to sign up for the Riyadh League or the World Combat Games 1-2?" And
Yeah,
she's just
because the
like,
North
"Well, yeah, if you'll
Americans
let
had
me,
to be run separately from the U.S. title. Yeah, complicated. But
Right,
yeah, because there was one Canadian, and so she ended up doing 4 brackets: youth women's, lightweight women, American, openweight women American, and then lightweight women North American, and
Oh wow.
ended up putting on a show in the North American League, and it was just extremely impressive. And I was just thrilled because we just made sure she was covered for that. So
yeah, she's awesome. And other like if all I saw was the way that she wrestled, never would have guessed that she was a teenager. You know, she absolutely
Yeah.
hung in there with the rest of the adult women in all of those brackets. That was super cool. And
Yeah.
then topping it
When
all
Jake
off
and
with
I
the
were
international travel, just hell of a year.
Yeah, even at nationals, Jake and I were watching one of her matches. I think it was against Helen. She's getting pushed out of bounds and she's sticking out her hand, trying to break her fall. Realizes, oh, if I touch first, and this is like her 3rd match ever, and she sucks it back in real quick and then pivots, and it's just that body awareness was phenomenal to see. And
Right.
she sticks with it. I think she can
Yep.
seriously go places.
I
She
don't
can
have
really
body
do-
awareness like that. I'm always running into the door or something trying to get through it. So, you know, get on her for being aware of
I've
what her
seen it
body's
happen.
doing.
But
No,
yeah,
yeah.
considering that we didn't even have a youth division in nationals prior to 2023. Well, I mean, long ago, yeah, but like in the current era here, nationals went from 0 youth to I think we had 7-ish youth competitors in 2023, and I already know of several that are planning to do 2024. Several other guys that have been added since. So like
Hell
that's
yeah.
youth as a whole
Nice.
is awesome right now.
We're so happy to see it.
So let's move to the men's division. And I know this one is going to have a little bit more discussion because we are not all agreed on this next award. The last 2 were kind of easy, unanimous, but this one's going to be a bit of a chat. So I'm going to put a timer on it. Let's make sure that we only go about 10 minutes on this. But
Okay.
senior men's wrestler of the year. Let me go through the nominations real quick that we have on here. We have senior as in like 18 or older. Not senior citizen, Justin. That's your division.
Oh,
Oh, damn it.
So are you,
You can't say that to him. I'm older than Justin.
Wait, are you older than me?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm okay. 1982.
In 1982, January.
Oh, okay. You're 5 months. You're 5 months older than me.
I
God
am.
damn.
Caleb's got you both by a couple years, it sounds like.
You were my senior. Okay.
Yeah,
Go man outside. Go man outside.
All right, let me go through our nominees real quick here. So we're going to start off with last year's men's wrestler of the year, Edibo Kanyeha. Absolutely deserves to be on this list again this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no
Um,
shit. Yeah.
Old news. At the time of 2023 Nationals, he was not yet a citizen, so he couldn't compete there. But he made up for it by competing at basically every single other tournament and winning almost
every single fucking tournament.
Always.
I don't know where. Dude, we all had a joke of him being like a Nigerian prince or whatever. Like, just like, where does he have this endless amount of money to be able to come go to every single tournament? But he did it. Hey, and it was amazing.
And he does incredibly every time.
2023 was a good year for this guy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He entered the Cowboy Cup in every single weight division and won gold in every single division at that tournament. Oh, shit.
Which technically shouldn't happen, but yes, it did happen.
Not going to take away from
he
how
was
impressive
under
it
the
was.
weight. He was under the required weight for every weight, so he was fine in my book.
So technically, yeah. We also have Gilberto Della Torre nominated for Men's Wrestler of the Year. Gil has been around for a little bit here, but definitely turned a corner in 23.
Oh, yeah.
Medaled at Nationals. He went on to like the Harvest Days Festival in August was another one of his best showings. He went on. Did he go to both world events too?
No.
Was it just Saudi
He did
Arabia?
Japan. No, he did. Wait.
I should have written this down better. Regardless, I know that he's traveled a lot, but it's also been he's earned those slots to travel. You know, he's definitely in there with the rest of the elite heavyweights when you know, I certainly think that his sumo has improved this last year and has certainly moved him into that very top tier, especially in men's heavyweight specifically.
Yeah.
Speaking of men's heavyweight, Mark Jones.
Mark Jones.
Mm-hmm. He didn't have like an Edibo level of travel by any means, but whenever he showed up,
when he did show up, exactly.
Undefeated at Nationals and heavy.
Pretty phenomenal.
Roller Town, he went undefeated, beating Edo. Roller Town being an open weight.
He ragdolled Edo. I've never seen Edo like carried like a child across the ring. He's just like get out of here.
It's funny that someone did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny that as like the United States heavyweight champion, the win that we all remember is, hey, remember that time he lifted up a lightweight? And we're all like, oh, that was so cool. I mean, it was, though. That was one of his best wins.
But it was pretty fucking cool.
You're leaving out an important detail there.
Yeah.
Who that lightweight was.
Exactly.
I know. Because Edo is America's greatest hope as far as like a David and Goliath kind of style and the fact that like Goliath actually like flicked, David's rock away kind of thing, I guess you could say.
Bing.
And it was that was the only time this year that I've ever seen Edo get caught in the trap.
Yeah.
In 2023, I have watched every single match that kid has fought, and that was the only time that I saw him get caught in a trap, fucking underhooked, and then just watched muscle just reverse that shit.
Edo lost a couple matches this year, but that one was like he got beat. Yeah.
Losing, like, there's a difference. Like losing a match, okay, cool. It's sumo.
It happens, yeah.
Hakuho loses matches. That's fine. I'm talking like to get
exactly.
caught, like completely caught in a trap. That I think that was the first time that in Edo's career that I've seen a man catch him.
Sure.
Like and let power just take over.
Yeah.
So regardless though, Mark Jones absolutely on this list for that. And he also went to Japan and how far did he get into that one?
He's the only man that made it to the semifinals.
There you go. Yeah, did he finish fourth? Was it or something like that?
Yeah,
roughly fourth or fifth, something like
he
that.
did pretty solid. He did pretty solid until his match with I think it was the
Rui.
Mongolian. Ruiz. Yeah. So he had a match. Yeah, that's right. He had a match with Ruiz, and then he learned what next level sumo is, and and he's back to the drawing board, and he understands what he's got to do. He understands the assignment.
Hell yeah.
Also,
Yeah, but I've been down to train with Mark plenty of times down in Daytona. That guy, he can put a hurting on you. He has an incredible tachi, but also if you give him a really strong one, he knows how to absorb it like anyone else. His footwork is probably his best feature.
Yes,
he
for a
drills
big guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead,
Justin,
Sorry.
I'm not saying for a big guy. I'm saying his footwork is incredible. Just period, full stop. If he does more footwork drills than anyone else in the country, so he's just incredible at it, and that's where he got caught in the at Worlds against Rui, was just because he was running his feet and just got a little bit off center. Like he almost won that match too. It was a close match if you watch it back.
Yep.
and
Yep.
shout out for all of his involvement in getting kids doing sumo down there too. Works a lot with his kids football team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also at Worlds this year and having some very impressive international success was three-time national lightweight champion Joe Ponsetto, who had some excellent I can't remember if it was lightweight or if it was in open weight later, but he had a couple like really awesome big throws that were just super cool and like more dominant, like really like beating the crap out of a guy in international competition. Any win like that is already like a huge feather in the cap.
And man, I love watching Joe.
Okay,
He has one of the funkiest styles you've ever seen in sumo. And it's almost, I know that's what Justin wanted to say, but he doesn't like being.
Okay.
He goes for the weirdest throws that you are not used to seeing in sumo at all. And if you go from the perspective of, I watch pro sumo, this is what I want to see, you do not like watching.
You will
Joe
be
wrestle.
surprised.
Me, who loves watching, who is a wrestler primarily, and then does sumo and tries to bring wrestling to sumo, I love Joe's style. It's one of the most fun styles to watch. Justin probably hates it.
Okay. No, let me give my perspective as a guy who stays in the ring with this man. I respect it. Like, I don't have to like it. I respect it. And it isn't traditional sumo. No, not at all. He's a defensive fighter all the way through. But his defense is scary, and it's unpredictable, and it's like I like to see patterns in people, and every fighter tends to have patterns, but this guy, I've learned over the years to respect him because of how insanely unpredictable he is. He can adapt to anything, and I respect it. And so I was very, very happy because of that unpredictability. Most people could I will say he did get a really good lucky draw. Because Italy, dude had not a scuff on his Mawashi, and Iran, but seriously, he's amazing. Had a solid under category, which was really cool. But he held. I will say the most respect, what really gained my respect was his solid ass fight with the Japanese guy. In the Middle East.
Yeah, the World Combat Games. Seeing it was see of him in the World.
It
Combat
was close.
Yeah.
It was super close. And that already. I mean, of course, I respect Joe and as a fighter, but that fight said it all. not, it wasn't the Iranian guy who had never fought or the Italian guy. It was him taking a win on the Japanese guy that said, yeah, Joe's a fucking man. So.
And that's exactly what I love about his style too. It's like, seeing his non-traditional style, because it's, some would argue that since it's not, traditionally sumo, that it's a kind of an ugly style. John Jacks was telling me that
I love ugly sumo.
I do too, but John Jacks was saying that some of the Japanese were calling some of the Hawaiian sumo ugly because it's not traditional, it's just powerful. And to me, it's like Joe Ponsetto has a very reactive style, but his reactive style is very fluid. It's like water. He's adaptable. And that's his style, is he could just kind of adapt to whatever the hell it is.
It's so annoying.
He's the shield hero. You ever see the rising of the shield hero? Yeah, the shield hero doesn't have weapons to attack. It's just that, but he can use his defensive capabilities as attacks, as ways to vanquish foes.
This has become an anime podcast now.
Yeah,
just so you guys know.
Deep in the weeds here.
Like,
We do have to keep
very much
moving.
respect the style of sumo. And even though, it's a non-traditional style of sumo, it's effective. It works. And I kind of sense a little bit of, Bruce Lee philosophy in there. So I
Well, it's
I've
one.
never-
Speaking of
met-
non-traditional sumo, Sumo in a cowboy hat, our next nominee, Hayden Southall. Let's move on.
Yeah, our final.
Sorry.
No, you're good there, Joe. Joe's just won three national titles in a row. So real quick, I got to take a quick pause. I'm going to step away, but why don't you guys talk about Hayden, our fifth nominee here?
Okay, so Hayden, to me, this
Hayden's out.
No, Hayden's awesome.
Go for it. Yeah, sing the praise.
So I got to personally witness, Hayden's, sumo growth. When I first fought Hayden, it was before the 2022 US Open. And he came to Dallas to train with us before, he went out to California, and I beat him on accident. So
He's never stopped talking about it since.
So he slammed into me at the tachi, but the way that I just kind of deflected him, he lost his footing and his balance, and he stepped out.
His footing has gotten significantly better since then.
That's what I was going to say. His footing, his balance, his power, his technique. That boy practices his tachi on a heavy bag every day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
we
so-
mentioned real quick that Gilberto had kind of turned a corner in 2023. Hayden didn't even do sumo until 2023. And
Well, he
he
didn't-
is
No, in a 1 year span, like watching this kid, like
Mhm.
just it was. I actually remember when he had first started. I think I was there for his second practice. We had done a joint a day geiko.
That's the one.
And and we had done a day geiko, and Corey was like, "Oh yeah, it's his second practice, whatever." And he seemed so like not confident at first, and so I didn't really even have him like on like a radar or whatever. But this kid, something turned on in this kid.
Yeah.
Something turned on in this kid, and shit started clicking, and he was just like, I'm just gonna like, and I'm like, and I love that. I love that about the sumo community, because like people come into themselves within sumo and stuff like, and I see people, people like Lucy, there's several people who I watch them. I don't know if it's my like old man like teaching,
but you can see sumo making them bloom.
You can see them. You can see them molding, like right before your eyes every single time you see them, and they're just like they're confident in themselves. And Hayden just embodies that beautiful sumo spirit. That I almost want to say American sumo spirit. It just watching them go from
all right.
Yeah.
No. Okay, win or lose. I'm saying the personal journey. I'm personally invested in certain people.
He beat my ass this year. That was where I was going with it. There you go.
Caleb is
There you go.
Caleb, we've got.
Justified that you're a little salty. I'm totally good with that.
I understand the
But you
salt. I
respect
understand.
it too.
Well, okay, Caleb, but I mean, you and I are on a whole nother old man journey where we are proving our own bodies in a different way. I'm just saying on like a just a personal level of watching human growth within a the sphere of sumo. I've never, outside of him and I want to shout out to Lucy. I've never seen such personal growth in human beings with the catalyst being sumo. And win, lose, whatever. I just think
it was freaking Kyle over here. Y'all don't seem to
It sounds like
Kyle back in Utah in 1920. I mean, I'm sorry, 1920.
1920.
Well, listen, you're dating yourself. Listen,
Hold on.
back in 1920.
Me and Justin met Kyle in a Utah 21. I want to say 2021. Was it then?
It was 2020 because it was the first like post-COVID event of anything ever.
Yes.
Because it was like people were commenting online about you should not be out here, even though it was outside during.
It was outside and everything. But
Kyle was a little shy boy.
He barely talked to any of us. And then the Conference Cup, months later, he still didn't want to talk really to people. He would like say like a couple sentences and then like, and now he's like one of the best people to talk to. Sumo just got to come completely out of his shell.
Yeah,
that's what like every single one, like whether it's in my club or anywhere else, like I observe and watch the growth of people, and like it's a beautiful thing. For those of you guys watching the show, like yes, I mean, we see each other all the time and hang out and stuff like that. And like all of us who are, semi extroverts or whatever our story is, that's fine. For some people, this thing is a pit, like this thing that we do is life-changing.
It is.
It's a catalyst for
It's
personal growth.
life-changing for personal growth. And I want those who are watching to know that like we see you, and at least I don't know if everybody sees it,
but I'm a sentimental old person.
Watch.
Like, yeah, I love seeing people and watching them grow and watching them from the time they hit sumo to the time they start bringing home hardware and seeing that confidence build. I love that shit, and it gets me in my old man heart, and because I just want to hug them and be like, "You're doing good." Dude.
These old guys are just going to keep going and going, aren't they?
Okay,
We are.
We should cut them out of the loop.
So
getting
going back-
sentimental. I think it's time to move on.
So going
I'm
back
sorry.
to Hayden, I'm going to tell one more story and then I'm going to move it on. At the beginning of the year, I faced him the first time at 2023 Nationals, and I beat him pretty handily. So handily that when the Roller Town Cup came around, I didn't take him seriously, and we ended up trading matches 1-1 that day. And by consulates, he was kicking the shit out of me. His Tachiai has gotten so much better over the course of the year. And he is an incredible wrestler. And then going into the slap fighting thing that he's doing now too, he is starting to expand out, and he's gotten extremely confident. That said, this award is for Men's Wrestler of the Year. The Most Improved award is really the Performance Award that we go into later. That's why, for me, my vote is going towards Mark Jones, the only man to make it to the semifinals from America.
Yeah, we do got to move to we're at 20 minutes on our 10-minute award here for Men's Wrestler of the Year.
True.
So I'm with Kyle here. I think that I got to go with Mark for that just dominance at Nationals and dominance at Roller Town, and the best showing of any American man at Worlds. He also,
fair.
I forgot to mention, he was also at the U.S. Open, and the only guy to beat him was Mendy. That's another big feather in his cap. So no American has beaten Mark Jones this year, I think is probably
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a good.
That is a good point. That's actually a vote changing point for me. I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and go with Mark
Okay.
Jones on
Honestly,
Okay,
it's a
well-
vote changing point for me too. I was gonna vote for Edo just after watching him win literally every match in every division at the Cowboy Cup. And him being like a real life action figure, basically. But yeah, Mark Jones was the one to beat him. So I mean,
I'm just saying, I
his
get it.
performance
Before we go on, I just want to say Edo got 5 gold medals on one day.
yeah.
yeah, I know.
I want to say
One
I
day.
do want to. No, he actually got
And a
6.
couple of those were against Hayden.
Listen, he got 6 only because I give him a personal award. I will pass my award on to him for best ass in sumo.
Hey, there you go.
No,
That is another
I'm sorry.
very strong category.
I do
Listen,
not concur. You're
Oh,
still
oh.
number one on that, Justin. I must say.
go on.
You are
Go
still the
on.
gold medalist of cakes. It's
Ah,
it's Justin on
It's
the way.
true. You really do. You are the
Cakes Gizzard, we call you.
yeah. You are Cakes Gizzard in our house.
All right, so Justin, now that we pumped Justin back up, we'll make it official there. We have at least 4 votes here. We're going Mark Jones for Men's Wrestler of the Year 2023.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Strong category though. Like I said, everybody in there deserved to be in there, and so many others deserve to be mentioned that we just can't spend all night here. But Men's Youth Wrestler of the Year. This is and same goes for the Women's Youth Award. This is heretofore known as the John Jocks Award for Youth Sumo. I asked him about that, and he was flattered and didn't want me to do it, but I convinced him.
All right, let's spend 20 minutes arguing about this one too.
Bingo, because I know this one is also
Yeah.
contentious
I'm
among
ready.
our group. Let me go through the nominees real quick, and then we can
Let's
start
go through
talking
now
about them.
before we say anything.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait.
Nominees.
Slide cards.
Similar to last year, there was only one youth wrestler at all that was nominated here, and that is Ben Shutko out of Tennessee, Iron Mountain Sumo, absolutely on the list again this year. We have Perry Pacina, Caleb's teammate out of San Antonio, heavyweight. Which was he, heavyweight champion or open weight champion at nationals?
He was the heavyweight champion. He got
Heavyweight champion.
and second in the other division. Yeah. And then the other two, we got 2 new Californians who started doing sumo since nationals, so they weren't even there.
Woo!
Yeah, we have Gianni Talbert out of OC Sumo and Malik Ben Musa out of Honu. Both those guys are wrestling very much on the level of the adults that I've seen them wrestle. But yeah, so let's talk about who we think should take this one. But the highlights here, Ben Shutko, his strengths, of course, are that he is all over the place. Like first put on a Mawashi in October last year, and I don't think he's taken it off since.
Yes.
Perry's strength is, of course, that heavyweight title at nationals, and also wrestling against adults ever since.
Yeah.
He's my rival.
Yeah, he did Roller Town. He's what was he at, like the other Texas events?
Yeah,
He was at all the Texas events.
Yeah.
I think he went to all of them except for Cowboys Cup and the last one.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know. I saw him at consulates, wrestling adults again. Gianni, Gianni's the only one on this list that I wrestled this year, and that was during training at Roller Town. And
He's
I
strong.
did not know he was a kid at that point.
No.
I ran into him
No.
and like injured myself immediately.
So I wrestled with him, and like I was like, okay, is this new, half black eye kind of thing, and I hit him like an adult, and I
Lean
and
forward for us, Justin. Your mic's acting up again.
oh sorry so I touch-eyed him like an adult, and I probably shouldn't have. I didn't know that he was a youth, but maybe
Beating up children.
I know. No, like afterwards, I was like, "Oh shit, he's like a child." Oh no. But I mean, I guess maybe it taught him like, okay, this is what a hard touch guy feels like. I don't know, whatever. But that kid he took it like a champ, and
he's been dishing it out since. Yeah.
Oh,
He can dish out the punishment.
And he has really good taste in music too.
Yeah, the Tatsuya, when I fought him, it was in San Diego at the very first SoCal Open, and because I didn't know who he was, it was like, okay, who this kid or this dude, I thought he was like maybe in his early 20s. I thought he was like 20, 21, but I was like, okay, he looks grown. I don't know.
Sure,
I thought he was older too.
He's like one of those guys that's just like made out of iron too. Like he's just
and that's what I'm saying. And so I was like, okay, let me not underestimate him. And I hit him like a grown ass man. And yeah, he took it. And dude, he's been dishing it at like solid. Him and Malik, probably some of the best youth matches I've seen.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Thus far. Easily. I was like, oh, they're going, and not just for Americans, watching their tenacity together let me know, okay, these two have real potential for international, because you've seen the international kids. Those kids are, I mean, they're Polish
30
kids.
years old. Yeah.
They're
Like,
grown
one
ass
guy
men.
from Brazil. You remember?
Oh my God, PC.
Holy
PC.
shit, dude. That
he's
guy's
a
already got a
man.
mortgage.
Yeah, it was that Jared Tadlock was like, oh, that kid's already got like 2 kids and a mortgage.
Yeah, that guy can buy me alcohol. That's
PC, like,
he's only like 17
I'm
or
such
something.
a fan. I'm such a fan.
Same.
all right. But before we go off on PC, let's continue with the.
Yeah. So
Sorry. Yeah, bring it back.
A little bit more about.
I'm down. I really would like to see Gianni on the international stage.
Yeah.
I think that would be really freaking cool.
I think it's very
Malik
possible
too.
we will in the coming year. Same for Malik. Malik took. Malik actually took third in the adult men's division at Consulates Cup.
Yeah.
That was
And
that
he
was
has
pretty cool.
great shorts.
We were talking about
really great
colorful.
compression shorts.
we were talking about Gianni, whose strength is kind of just strength, whereas Malik has a lot more slickness to him, and he's definitely got a lot of that judo that they teach at home.
Yeah. But but imagine both of them, Malik and Gianni. They're still skinny motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? I can only imagine they're probably about like at best 130, like 130. Can you imagine when they tip the scale of lightweight?
I think Gianni's a lot closer than that, but yeah, I think they definitely have
Justin,
some ways to go.
I don't think you can see that. That's at least 150, 170, buddy.
What?
They're solid kids.
170.
Justin, I'm a high school wrestling coach. I can tell what 150 to 170 looks like. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think you know what 125 pounds looks like.
All these kids. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that looks like. I'm just saying these skinny kids. Okay, you're fair. This is fair.
125 looks like a stick figure, bro. No matter how little they are.
I don't know.
I wish that they had a chance to qualify to go to Worlds. But the youth competitors that we did have that went to Worlds or that were qualified even were also really amazing. I'm really proud of Ben for doing that after last year when he had just gotten into sumo, and I don't know, he's such a little spaz, but everybody just kind of loves him for it because he just glomped onto this thing and he made it his thing.
And he's learning.
He's everybody's sumo little brother.
Yes, exactly. And he's learning from some heavy hitters. Like he's learning from some of the best in the country.
Yeah,
exactly. He is I don't know. I wish there was more. His dynamic and what he's going, what he gets to experience. I wish there was more youth that could have that experience, because out of any of them, out of Malik or Gianni and stuff like that, he gets
to travel around the country and train with all these different sumo clubs all over the country. And he gets to go to all these different tournaments, and you can see how that has really like improved his skill and helped him like grow in his abilities.
And he's now trained at a hair
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Japan.
Oh my
In
god.
Japan.
Lucky ass kid.
What kid under 18 has done that yet?
I think it's
None I can think of.
I think why don't we move it on to let's start talking votes, because like
Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna expand on that, where my vote is gonna be for Ben, not
My
just
vote's for
because
Ben.
he's able to be at all these places, but also because of like the spirit that he brings to all the places and the enthusiasm he brings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Willingness to learn.
Yeah.
As far as
My
like
vote is for
sheer-
Ben because of the carrier. He's the carrier of our future.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
And in 3 or 4 years, when he is as old as Gianni and Malik, you know, he'll probably, if he keeps
Yeah.
up at sumo, he'll be just as built as those guys by
Oh,
then,
yeah.
right? But yeah, he's
wait till he throws on 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Kyle. Does that
That-
sound accurate as far as a weight guess? Can
Sure,
Ben put
I
on
don't
about
know.
40 pounds? You think?
Am I right?
I don't even know how old Ben is. Is he 13 or 14?
I think he's 13 or 14.
13.
Oh, he's
13.
14.
Yeah.
No.
13?
Oh, okay. I
One
don't
of the
know.
two. Doesn't matter. But yeah,
Hopefully he can put on some size soon. Otherwise,
But for being as small as he is and having that much tenacity, I have to say that's going to be a vote for Ben from me as well. Next year, I'm pretty positive, because this is the second time in a year that I voted for him, and seeing these other youth men's competitors that have been popping up this year, Ben's going to have a run for his money, but for 2023, that's going to be my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely fair.
I'm going with Ben.
The
as
only
well.
person's voting for someone else, so I guess I should talk.
Yeah.
The only person
Absolutely.
that's voting for Ben.
Hold on.
I think I'm the
I
only
gotta,
person last
I gotta
year.
pee.
I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just make sure to mute your mic, Justin. Go
I
ahead.
still had
Go
a
ahead.
couple things I wanted to say.
Oh,
about the other
yeah.
ones.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So no, I wanted to touch on the fact that Perry is my rival. You know, Perry's older. Perry's like, you know, he's kind of like 1 foot in the children's division, 1 foot in the adults division.
How
Yeah.
old is Harry now?
He's like 15.
He just turned 16. All this year
Just
he's
turned
been
16.
Okay.
He's 15 years
He's
old.
a grown ass man.
If he decides to stick with sumo, you know, I have a feeling I'm just waiting for Perry to get the strength and the fighting spirit to eventually beat me. I like being Perry's hurdle, and I want to see that kid like go places. I'm
Nice.
excited to see what Perry's capable
I
of.
can't wait for
really
the
am.
med. I cannot wait for
I
the med.
And then like with Gianni's my bud. Like he is like my pal. We listen to black metal, we listen to thrash, you know, we're like both Gianni and I have the exact same taste in music. Like seriously, we trade music back and forth all the time. We're both headbangers.
Yeah.
And so like I love that kid. Gianni's a bad dude. And I love seeing his style of sumo. Like I know that the world of sumo is in great hands with Perry and Ben and Malik and Zeus. You know, I know like if they just stick
Yeah.
Yeah.
gonna be badass. But you know, I think Malik has earned the Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball Award, because the way that kid just popped into the sumo scene was just freaking incredible. He made a huge splash, and he's got those crazy shorts. He's got
Yeah.
that long surfer boy hair. You know, he's got an image. You know, he
Yes,
really,
He's Surfer Boy.
yeah, he sticks in my mind. You know, I'm like,
He's got
oh, Malik,
style.
oh, yeah, that surfer boy. Yeah, but so like him and Gio are like freaking like Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter, though.
Yeah.
Why don't we
They
give
really
a-
are. They're the sumo Ken and Ryu.
Yes.
Why don't we give Caleb a minute to
Oh,
say his bit on Perry here before we move on to the next
go
one.
ahead. Go ahead, Caleb.
But yes, absolutely, Caleb.
So
Oh,
the reason why I'm going with Perry, which I get it, he's from my team, so I may be a little biased. However, he showed up to a demo in late January with me and Justin. He was just going through an Asian festival and saw us wrestling and was like, "Hey, can I try that?" That was late January. 3 weeks later, he was at the Met competing, and he beat. Not only did he beat all the youth and won the youth thing, but then he like got into the open weight men's and the team men's and beat a lot of the adult men.
Yeah.
He beat like a power lifter. And he beat Paul A twice. He beat a lot of people. And that was his first tournament. Then he goes and wins nationals. And then he kicked the crap out of people all year.
Yeah.
And he qualified for Worlds too.
He straight up was talented.
He had a solid run in Florida. He had a solid run in Florida.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did. He screwed up on a little hinka on the opener. He probably would have had like a open end the heavyweight, but still, I thought he had an incredible year, and that's why I'm going to pick him for this one. And he tried very freaking hard. And I mean, no, y'all saw him working, so that makes sense.
I'm proud of Perry. I didn't see him like actually.
I saw him
like
working
at Keiko or anything like that, but just to fight him at the tournaments that I fought him at, throughout the year, seeing his exuberance, so I fought him at the Met, I fought him at Rollertown, I fought him at Consulates, and every time I fought him, he's harder and more difficult, more skilled. Like he's freaking turning into like a little boulder. When I first fought Perry, he was like he was a teddy bear, and now that I'm fighting Perry, the last time I fought Perry, he was a grizzly. So he's getting ferocious, and I'm proud of that kid. I honestly, I want to get good so I could be harder for Perry to beat, because when he finally does beat me, I want it to mean something.
Yeah. Make him earn it.
I will say all these guys have beaten each other this year. Like anybody dominating any of these tournaments, they all beat each other at least once, if not more often. So that's also kind of impressive in this youth award.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But our official,
since I haven't cast my vote yet.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I don't remember.
You don't count.
Or was it Gianni or Malik that rearranged the Jones Brothers face? Justin.
That was
I
Gianni.
think that was Malik.
Then my vote's for Gianni.
Yeah.
Was it Gianni?
It was for sure Gianni, because I remember the first two people that took his Tachi I needed a minute afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And then I think as the day went on, people were like, I'm gonna like pay attention here a little bit more. But no, that's my vote. That was Gianni.
But his ass he needed a readjustment with my Tachi.
Speaking of Justin's Tachi,
contrarian,
Speaking of Justin's Tachi, our official John Jocks Award winner for Men's Youth Wrestler of the Year, Ben Schutko, out of Iron Mountain Sumo. The second time he's gotten this award, so very cool.
Pew, 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 pew.
Next up, we have the Technique Prize. So we got a couple familiar names. We don't have to cover all of it again, but first two nominations: Joe Ponsetto, again, reigning 3-time national lightweight champion, had some international success this year. We got Edibo Kanyeha for all the reasons that Justin was gushing about earlier. Justified for sure. But
I mean, I can literally actually have a notebook of his.
You go find that. We'll cover the rest of the nominees
Justin's
here.
Been keeping an Edo diary. I knew it.
I am such a fucking weirdo, but he has had some really solid technical wins.
So we also have
San Diego. Justin was watching Edibo's film the night before.
Fuck you!
Because you
don't tell everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, cut that out, Jake.
Speaking of San Diego, we have Mencken Reagan on here. Mencken was that was the only. He did some awesome stuff. It's even against you, Kyle. He had that one Matrix dodge where you thought
I give it to him.
He somehow got up.
Yeah,
that got out of that.
His SoCal wins were very unorthodox.
Yeah.
They were really unorthodox. So I will, but that was only one tournament. We're talking about a whole year of technique.
The other thing going for Mencken is that he's been living and training in Japan with like an actual local sumo club. He's brought a ton of that knowledge back to the US, including working as a coach for our world team. Yeah. And then also we have, oh God, is this our first Midwesterner on the list? Man, we got to step this up. We got to step this up, Midwest. Oh, you betcha.
Yeah. Oh, you betcha.
You betcha. We gotta get out to the ice house and do some more reps out there. Yeah. But our first Midwesterner on the list is our Technique Prize nominee, Coach Ben Lacey out of Ohio Sumo.
Ben Lacey.
Everybody everybody at Ohio Sumo, all three of their branches, I guess you'd call it, will constantly gush about Benjamin's excellent. Not only is he excellent as far as like technique in the ring, he is an excellent teacher. He's got backgrounds, I believe, in judo and some other combat sports, but he's one of those guys that similar to guys like Joe or Edo. Like when they're in the ring, there's a lot of unpredictability, and there's a lot of that. The term I always come back to is like squirreliness. Like you can tie a guy up and you can push him backwards, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be the first one to touch the ground, because there's always something. There's always another arm grabbing somewhere. There's always another foot that's going to trip you up somewhere else. Like that is his style of sumo that he is very studied and very diligent in, but also
I
bringing up
it.
everyone around him.
I respect it, and over the years of fighting with Ben, and going to the Midwest, and then him coming to like Atlanta, like I fought him for years, and him and I are about the same age, and I respect his sumo. Him and I had a few really good matches in North Carolina for the what was it called? The thing.
You got to give us something to work with here, man.
He's talking about North Carolina training camp.
The North Carolina training camp. Sorry.
You're like my grandma trying to tell me like the actor from the movie. You know which one I mean, right? You
know what I'm talking about. Come on, listen.
The training camp in North Carolina, right?
We like, him and I had I guess when they had the 3 rings or whatever. His was the first ring that I was in, and so him and I had about 3 to 4 matches where he like my first match. I think the first match, like I was trying to do some power sumo stuff, and he rocked my belt, and it was pretty solid. I was like, God damn! All right, Ben. Like, I did. He's. Dude is solid. So, and we both talked about, our age being a factor of things and stuff. And so I respect him to the fullest, and I would totally vote for him. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but in an overall year of technique, I would have to give it to Edo. I literally have a notebook of techniques that he has actually used throughout the year.
Kyle, what are you thinking there?
Yeah. So for me, I've got my notes app pulled up here, and if you scroll through, I've got about 5 different names for everyone. My reasoning why. When you get up to technique, it just says Edobo no contest. No one in this country, to me, has shown as much of a versatility of techniques and as many different options as far as, hey, I can fight big guys, I can fight little guys, I can go fast, I can hit you hard on the tachi, I can drive you straight out, I can absorb you tachi, I lift you up, back you out, I can hit you with an arm drag, I can use belt techniques, I can use slapping techniques. Whatever he wants to do, he has gotten very, very good at it. He is 100% my pick for technique prize. The only person I would say could come close, in my opinion, is Mencken. However, we're talking about, like Justin said, the whole year of sumo. Mencken did 1 tournament. And did he have some phenomenal defensive technique in that tournament? Yes. Did he come out and show me the same level of technique and the same overall skill over tournament after tournament? Obviously not, because he was only here for the 1 tournament. Mencken's phenomenally skilled. Edo showed me phenomenal skill after skill after skill. I can go in and practice against Edo, and he doesn't always have to go for the leg pick on me like Justin thinks he can try to do to me.
Fuck you! hey, listen.
Also, Edo, at that one tournament, Edo did beat Mencken, so there is that.
There is that too, yes. So that's just why in my head.
I just wanted to note. Just one note. But who beat Edo in that tournament?
You did, sir.
I'll just sit back and be like, what?
Yeah,
I'm
hang
sorry,
that one
what?
on the wall because that's probably not going to happen very many more times.
I'm sorry. Sunday. What just
Yeah.
happened?
What
Yeah,
happened?
you're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
God damn, it hurts. Oh, go ahead and say it. Who won?
Oh, I already did. You won,
Oh,
Justin.
yeah. Oh,
But
that's fine. Oh,
from the looks
I
of
just want
things,
to
it
hear it
almost
again.
killed you, though.
Oh, it did.
Justin.
No, for real, but it did though.
Beat him at a big tournament.
North Americans.
That's true.
My
His first tournament
win.
at his debut, Justin did beat him.
We are 3-1. I'm actually. It doesn't matter what the weight category is. I'm probably the only American who has actually got 3 on him. Kyle, can you say that?
Very possible.
I don't know how many I have on him.
I don't
know. I have one
know.
loss on him.
Edo, am I right?
I know losses. I can't tell you
I'm
wins. I don't care
probably
who
the
I beat.
only American who's got 3 little ones.
Oh, close.
Hey, Joe-
Darius had him twice.
Yeah, I know. No, I've been keeping an account.
Hayden's
This
got him a
kid-
couple times.
This kid is the future. But I just want to make sure that my old ass does have a few counts on him.
Jared has 2.
Yeah. But
Yep, but I think you're right. But anyways, why don't we
let's move on. Let's move on
because me and Kyle are going Edo. Justin, you were going Edo as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Caleb,
I
Matt, Sabrina,
have my
what are you
count.
thinking?
I was thinking Joe Ponsetto for the fact that his technique is not your common technique. Honestly, anything I'm going to say is what Kyle said earlier. His technique isn't the common sumo technique, but what he does with it is amazing to me. And the fact that he is not predictable at all, in my opinion, is impressive. And the throws he threw at Worlds was impressive. And he's just more and more impressing me every time I see him get into the ring.
Oh, for sure. Matt, Sabrina, what are you guys thinking?
If we didn't have Edo as an option, Joe would be my hands down pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
But yeah, it's just, to me, Edo's just the guy. And to answer your question, Justin, I'm 2-1 against Edo according to my spreadsheet. Justin has, or Jake's seen my spreadsheet.
I have indeed. Matt and Sabrina, what are you guys thinking for technique prize here?
I said Edo just because it's Edo. I mean, he's doing all.
That's a fair
Joe
argument.
Ponsetto is also a very close second, but I don't know. I've just physically watched in person Edo do all kinds of crazy shit this year, so that's why I'm voting for him.
You see, I didn't get to really experience a whole lot of Joe Ponsetto sumo until just this year. So I've seen Edo, from last year, this year, but when I saw Joe Ponsetto at Worlds, that's what freaking blew me away. I was like, whoa.
It did make me feel like I've been sleeping on him for sure.
It kind of, I guess it might be, it's more novel to me because I, was late to the Joe Ponsetto train, but it just made a bigger impact on me, I guess, or maybe Edo's impact was earlier, last year. And now I'm like, oh, okay. I know Edo is an established Titan. So who's next?
Sure.
And so to me, I chose Joe Ponsetto.
Is Ponsetto an Italian surname? I may have to change my vote.
Ponsetto.
Well, when you
I don't
say
know.
it like that, of course, it sounds like.
Well, you gotta get one of those.
Yeah, speaking of Worlds, when he had that throw at Worlds, I think I literally did this. Like that.
I did.
So let me finish this off with a joke that I thought of last year and have been killing myself all year long that I didn't think of it a minute sooner.
Oh, I am ready for this.
You could call this show 1800s Tokyo because we are living in the Edo period. Seriously, like the night that we did the show, I was like, damn it, that would have been perfect.
We got to make that t-shirt now.
Yeah.
Edo period. Yeah. Have him walking around in a yukata with a sword.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I've actually been planning on making fan merch for some of the US amateur sumo tori.
I am 100% there for it.
So look for that on the Sumo Punx shop on
I
Redbubble.
can't unmute you, Kyle. You got to hit the button yourself.
I need you to pose for a picture for me in your mawashi where you're, with your butt pointed towards us, but you're pulling one of these, one of those, kind of one of those.
Man.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to our next category, which is not best buns in sumo. Again, we already established that one. You're unmuted, Justin.
Just you can't hear us. That's
our
weird.
next. Oh, well, he must have hit some buttons on his own headphones or something. He'll be back. In the meantime, let's make some progress. Our next award is the Outstanding Performance Award. We have two names that have already been brought up. We have Hayden Southall, as we mentioned, incredible contender for best debut year, coming out of nowhere. We also have Kellyanne Ball for outperforming expectations in women's sumo by getting those medals on the international stage. We also kind of wanted to just nominate Women's Team USA as a whole as like their own nomination for outstanding performance.
Testing.
Hey, there he is.
There you go.
Fuck. Okay.
So
All right.
me muting you just ruined your headphones somehow.
Kid.
I'll do it again. I swear.
Oh, I respect it. I'm sorry.
We got two more nominations for incredible debuts in 2023. Seth Adams, Sensei Seth of YouTube fame, got famous on the tubes with the young kids who watch the videos and such. Seth does all sorts of martial arts stuff. And this year he decided, wow, sumo looks cool. I wonder where I can do sumo. And learned that he lives in like one of the best places in the country to do sumo. Just happened to live in North Carolina.
Just happened to live in North Carolina.
Is there anyone around here I could train with, perhaps? And he's got Raijin
Only some
Sumo
of the
right there.
best.
Yeah.
I do want to take partial credit for that because he hopped into the U.S. Open live stream, which I was watching, and I was just like, Seth, you live, because I've been subscribed to Seth for years, and I was like, Seth, you live in North Carolina, right? And I was like, hey, I'm going to give you Eric's number,
Yeah, there you
who
go.
was competing. And then, of course, that's right when Eric just launched Trent. He's like, yeah, I'll go train with him.
Move from last year. It's why I voted for him for Technique Award.
Yeah.
Yep.
And our last nominee for the outstanding performance is Jay Scriven out of Mighty Eagle Sumo in San Antonio.
I would like to add two more to that. I know it's kind of last minute.
That's fine.
Dustin Hawkins out of Iron Wave has improved so much over the last year. I faced him at Nationals, and he gave me the one hell of a match. Serious force to be reckoned with. And then a super newcomer that I've only faced once, and I think he had just started right before Justin's tournament, Jared Parham out of Dallas.
Jared Parham.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Scary motherfucker.
Strong. He has those long arms and legs, which are hard to
He
do.
got them fucking strong spider arms, dude. Yeah.
Absolutely. Real quick on Jay. Jay made was the Consulates Cup his debut? Just in
No. Wait. I thought
The Midwest is his debut. Y'all
True.
start.
Facts.
I thought Consulates was before that.
It was.
it's after. Wait, was it? You're right.
No, it was right after. It was right after.
Q4, and it was
It was
right
like
after.
2 weeks later.
Yeah. So
I mixed them up in my head.
right. So at the Consulates Cup, Jay Scriven from San Antonio, he did real great. I think the very first match I saw of his, he launched Bubba into orbit with his Tachi-ai.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting, I think, 4th place or something in open weight and
in
roughly
heavy,
the same in
yeah.
heavy. Yeah. So
I give it
Yeah,
to that
he
dude.
made it to the semifinals where we met, and I remember I was watching him go, and he was giving the business to everyone. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to take that. And he's new, so he's not going to expect to hank us. So I just let him run past me.
Oh, and thank you, because he just turned around and did it to me. Jerk.
that's the newbie tax. That's the newbie tax. But yeah, so then Jay had 2 other tournaments. He came up to the Beer City Open up here in the Midwest, stole all of our honor and brought it back to Texas with him. I think he only lost once, and it was one of the team competition matches or something.
Yeah, Jay was on fire.
And then he came down and got a very solid 2nd place at the Texas Classic just this last weekend.
Yep.
Jay's a warrior, dude. Seriously, Jay's a straight up warrior.
He keeps
Getting better.
getting better. And he's one of those people, and he wants to get better. Like he's just, he's the kind of guy that watches tapes, everything. Like he's solid, dude. Like the dude, I'm jealous. I wish he was. I wish he was in Austin.
See, I'm jealous because like that ability he has to sponge like technique
He sponges.
for me, and then just kick it out like it ain't nothing. It's just
Yes.
that.
Dude,
Yeah, after
Jace
consulates when we
counts.
did after consulates when we went down to San Antonio to do Caleb's demo down there, Jay was asking me about some techniques, and then I saw him implement those the very next week at the Midwest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it was phenomenal to see.
dude soaks it in, adjusts, and I mean, God,
I could blow your mind even more. He's never really done sports before this. He didn't do football. He didn't do wrestling. He didn't do anything.
But he was military.
But he just kind of showed up as like, I would like to do this because I used to live in Japan when I was a kid. Okay, did you do sumo there? No. Did you football or anything? No. Okay, well, come in. We'll see what you got. And he beat me half the time. And he was brand new. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I told him that. I was like, at one point soon, you're going to be kicking my ass all the time. And he was like, no. I was like, you just started.
And here we are.
The only things in my mind that work against Jay and Jared is just that we only have like 3 months here of it's a small sample size.
Yeah.
I think Dustin's been around for at least a couple years here, so for him, like, it's more the fact that he turned a big corner this year.
Right.
And then Seth and Hayden are just, they debuted this year and decided they wanted to be like national level wrestlers immediately.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It seems like there's like longevity versus just crazy trajectory of like upward leaps and bounds.
And that's the same category. I put Kellyanne and the women's team and put them in like the big improvement over last year, as opposed to
That's true.
Just making a debut kind of deal. All in all, though, where are you guys feeling for actually putting the money where your mouth is? Because I am thinking Hayden is where I want to go with this one.
I went with Hayden.
I want to say Hayden.
I'm going with Hayden for the same reasoning that Matt gave earlier for why he thinks he should win the Wrestler of the Year, because that improvement and everything. So my vote's with Hayden.
Okay.
I'm the odd person out. I'm voting Seth Adams. For showing up at nationals and almost beating Eric.
Yeah.
At nationals, his first national. And he beat Sam Kempka, who was a national champion. He beat Corny, who's been a national champion. And then he went to Mr. Olympia.
He did badass at Mr.
Not only did he get second in light heavy in that one, in open weight, he beat Hayden.
He did. That's
second place. And the only reason he get first is because he get to go against a professional and to fight for first. He was, if y'all haven't seen that, guys, go to Seth's channel, watch that tournament. He had some of the craziest, best sumo I have ever seen.
Which one?
The one where he did Mr. Olympia.
No, who did? Who?
Seth Adams. It's that video that says I entered a sumo tournament with no weight classes or something like that.
Yeah. My vote would be Hayden or Seth. Like I those two were, I don't know, they were phenomenal this year.
Yeah, I'm going with Hayden just because I was there to witness it in person, and it was phenomenal.
Sure. I thought you had voted for the U.S. women's team.
I thought, am I confusing that for the other one?
We're on performance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's who I voted for, was the U.S. women's team, just because. You
can change your votes
I didn't know a team could be a thing. I didn't know a team could be.
It was on there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can vote however we want, but like, yeah, I think this is a really tough one because it's hard to judge like how the leaps that all of these nominees have made. None of these are wrong answers, I think. So I guess for me, it's coming down to Hayden. For me, also partly because of being at enough tournaments with him to see that level of growth, and just seeing somebody that young come onto the scene and make that big of an impact and all that is
I was gonna say, how do we so if you looked at it, objectively, if we put on as far as like wins and like numbers on the board, like we do like the Texas Classic or the Texas
the state title,
just straight state title, numbers on the board, Hayden wins. I mean, because he's got the international titles, he
went to Scotland.
I don't have the exact number, but I can easily say that Hayden wins over any one of our. And Sensei Seth was fucking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, for him to like murder Sam, and Sam, he's been out of it for a bit, but like to murder
That's
Sam,
still a feather in the cap. Yeah.
was like just to be like, I'm gonna do a national tournament. Let's see what happens, and to just fucking clean
Absolutely.
house,
That's true.
solid. But numbers on the board, objectively, Hayden's got it.
Well, see,
I do
that's
have
my
to give-
thing. Objectively, I'd probably be with you, except I watched Seth Hayden beat the living crap out. I mean, Seth Adams beat the living crap out of Hayden at Mr. Olympia, and I went, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" He didn't just like do tricky stuff like we
No,
most.
there was technique. There was
Beat him
solid
at
technique.
sumo.
No,
Yeah.
he got underneath Hayden, pushed Hayden's ass up, and then drove him out of the freaking ring. And I was like, "That's
But
That really was
of 2023,
that was part of
numbers on the board.
There's no
Listen,
way to
yeah.
say any of these are objective. It's all subjective, and that's okay.
No. You can pull yourself back from it. You can like. 'Cause I know who I like, who I love, but I could easily go in 2023, just this year. Let's not, just this year. Fucking Hayden put numbers on the board internationally, dog. Like,
that just means he had money to
now,
travel.
does that mean okay? Well, Sensei Seth, if he went to all the exact same tournaments that Hayden went to, would he have put the same, like close to the same numbers? Sure, yes, I don't know, but you only can fight who's there.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
I appreciate. I'm just saying. I'm the only person voting for Steph, so I don't know why you're arguing so freaking hard.
I'm the only person voting for the women's US team because I mean they made freaking history being the first like women's team to medal on an international, like the international fucking tournament. And then you have people on that team like Itan, who's new to sumo, who's had an explosive year. You have people like Madison, who last year said she wasn't even going to do sumo anymore. She just did the Texas Classic, and I sat down and talked to her, and I was like, "Hey, how do you like sumo? Do you think you're going to stick with this?" And she was like, "Nah, I think it's just one-time thing." And then she qualifies for the fucking world
And she comes
tournament.
back and becomes a national titleist like 5 months later or something.
I know, and like a world medalist, another history maker. It's like, whatever, Madison.
Yeah, you have people like, I mean, you have Kellyanne on that team. You have Christina on that team, who's had a ton of growth over the last year. So that's the reasons why I'm voting, and also because Itan will slit my throat if I don't vote for her. So
Ooh, that's a good reason too.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And
So
I just want to really quick point out the amount of eyes that Seth has put onto amateur sumo through his videos with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thousands of people that put their eyes on amateur sumo because of him. And I personally got hit up partially because of the Scottish Backhold video because of him, like by a lot of people. So he's done a lot for the sport. That said, I am still in the camp that just in comparison to basically, I viewed this as my expectations starting from the beginning of the year. And it was looking at Hayden where it's like, hey, he's kind of okay, here he is. And then Seth, it's just, okay, he might do sumo this year in one of his videos.
And if he does, he'll probably be okay at it, right?
Right.
So that's why Hayden's my vote. It's not because I don't think Seth deserves a vote. Seth
Hayden's
100%
pure
does.
sumo.
But Hayden, I think, just because, and it is partially from a selfish point of view of, I felt that improvement. Nationals, Rollertown, Consulates, the leaps and bounds between those, where it was easy match, trade, domination, and it's just so that's why my vote's
It's
for
this giant upward trajectory.
And I absolutely, like I said, this is a heartbreaker category because Team USA women's, very much another correct answer. Seth, another very correct answer. Another 6 months of tournaments or so, Jay or Jared getting more exposure there. Maybe that, another 6 months or something like that would change my mind there. Dustin making massive improvements out of nowhere this year. Very cool. I don't think there's a wrong answer, but if we got at least a majority here, I think we officially are going to grant that one to Hayden Southall of Dallas Sumo Club. So
Congratulations, Hayden.
well earned. We have one more special prize here, and that is the Fighting Spirit Award. And this one is awfully loosey-goosey. We can
So give it
nominate...
to Lucy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Sorry, Lucy, that's not legally binding. There's a couple different categories of why people are being nominated here. A handful of them are because of just like not just the ability, but the eagerness to be everywhere and doing sumo is kind of like the main thing that we got nominations from the public for. Which I hate that. I know at least one of you, Kyle, I think you said it was you. I got a couple people that nominated me for Fighting Spirit.
And I plan on arguing that point once we get there, but let's continue with the other nominations.
We'll get there. But yeah, the nominations I'll actually accept include Caitlin Jones, who was all over the place. What are you booing that for? Come on.
Lady Yahoo.
She knows exactly why. Sorry.
You got Ben Shutko again.
It, by the way.
Ben Shutko, as we discussed before, is everywhere and just infectiously enthusiastic. And also repeating from Men's Wrestler of the Year, we got Gilberto on this list. Gilberto was not just, again, it's not just traveling and being in all sorts of places. It's also just like the ability to be in the ring, the attitude outside the ring, just bringing sumo, bringing the right attitude to sumo and fighting hard to make it what it should be. And I think that's something that all of these guys definitely represent. This is also a category where I'm very open to more nominations of people that you think have done more for sumo, or if there's anybody that we met. Again, another heartbreaker category because so many people could be argued that they did a lot for sumo this year. Justin, what you got?
I do. And to kind of full circle this thing, like I do want to nominate Joseph Ponsetto, only because, like, as far as fighting spirit, his style is very unorthodox, but the guy, I have, like, him and I talk all the time on instant message and stuff, and I have watched his journey and watched him, have to take, like, protein shakes and gain strength and stuff. He would, he kind of joked with himself, and of course we all did too, kind of, because his first two gold wins weren't they were unqualifying years, but he seriously earned his last, he earned all three, but his third one was like, he seriously,
the strongest field.
It was the strongest field. And then to watch, most people don't know his journey towards Worlds because he got the gold medal, but his journey from Florida to Japan was insane, and I respect it. And I, for me, because he's even called me out. We've talked to each other, and he's called me out and said, like, oh yeah, you didn't even really even like acknowledge my my gold or whatever, blah blah. But like from his, like, the first one or whatever. But I respect his journey and the fact that he is really put on weight, put on strength, put on, like, and went hard as fuck at Worlds and pulled 3 wins. So I would love to see him win that. And so that is me coming from a lightweight who has lost to him, unfortunately, and who is humbly putting him up on a pedestal right now.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Kyle, what you got?
So I'm going to give 2 arguments here. One, because I promised I was going to explain why I nominated Jake, or one of the people that nominated Jake.
Jake.
Going from the beginning of the year when Jake helped us put on nationals, Jake was instrumental in this. people have no idea how much he does for every single sumo tournament. And I'm not going to pimp him out and say to ask him because
Oh,
No,
thank
pimp him out. Pimp him out.
No, please stop.
Please stop.
Oh,
No,
daddy.
Kids now.
but
I'm trying to cover some of the slack for you, but it's I don't know.
Pour him out.
He went from the point of, hey, Jake, are we going to get you to put on Mawashi? We're going to get you to put on Mawashi? Every time we saw him, to starting his own sumo club, bringing people out to put a demo on, starting Iowa Sumo, which is starting to have a lot of good competitors there, and actually starting to put on a thing. And then now he shows up as a competitor, and he still shows up. And so my main qualification when I was thinking of who do I want to win this prize was who showed up to these tournaments. And I understand that travel is a extremely difficult part of this. So it's who made the sacrifice is mine. Jake had a kid this year, and
Oh yeah.
Dead ass. And show the fuck up to Consulates Cup, to like all the major ones, and actually put in work. Like,
Yeah.
however, Kyle, shit. I didn't.
However, Jake will not let me vote for him, even though I'm going to vote for him anyway.
I'm voting
So
for
my-
him
I'm voting.
anyway for all of those
before you
reasons.
said
won
that
me
you
over.
were going to let us vote for him. We had already decided.
So
who's gonna
my-
vote for him.
So my other vote, since Jake will not accept this nomination, is going to go to Caitlin Jones for a very similar reason. She goes to every tournament, and then in the fighting spirit, yeah, I agree, Justin. It hurts me too. In the fighting spirit,
Is there something I don't know? What's going on
every
here?
time that I've talked to Caitlin, when Rollertown happened, and for some reason she got matched up against me, and I was trying to be nice to her, and I'm like, Caitlin, please don't make me hit you. And she says, hit me as hard as you can. And of course I didn't, but I just kind of gave her a hit, and she called me a pussy afterwards for not hitting her hard. And that's what I liked, was because
That's
she was
Caitlin.
insanely tough, and she's funny. She brings a good joking spirit to every tournament, and she shows up. She was at Olympia. She goes out of state, which a lot of people don't go to, which I understand is extremely difficult. But making those sacrifices to go out of state to those tournaments is what I think is extremely valuable for me and my votes. So
That must be why all the guys like her, because she's calling them pussies all the time. I think I just learned something about the men in amateur sumo.
What's funny is
We're all masochists. We're all masochists. I mean, why do you think we run our heads into each other?
Yeah,
and then
makes sense.
we have all of these nagging injuries, and we're still launching these.
We're just like, yeah, I'll fly to that.
Yeah, let me go launch myself at people from around the world.
Hey, speaking of that kid, I got to take a quick second. You guys keep talking about fighting spirit. I'll be back in a minute.
So anyway, here's why Jake should win this award.
Okay, so
don't you
that was
dare.
my thing. Okay, I hereby vote to veto Jake's non-acceptance.
Yes, I
Jake's
vetoed
gonna-
Jake's acceptance as well.
He's gonna take it because Daddy wants him.
I'd like to hear Caleb's thoughts.
Let's get Caitlin to make him take it.
Yeah, Caitlin's gonna strap on that award and give it to him.
What's funny is but no, I'm of the exact same sentiment as Kyle, that if because whatever he was saying at the beginning of this, that he wasn't going to accept nomination, I was
Giving it to
well,
him.
that's Caitlin. But the reason Caitlin is because she's ferocious. I mean, shit, our podcast's nickname for her is Lady Hakuho.
Yeah.
I mean, see that forearm shiver she gave to freaking Kellyanne Ball, like that immortalized picture of Kachiage, right in Kellyanne's face. Kellyanne's like, oh, that's brutal. She's just like a little Tasmanian devil, just not giving a fuck. Just, but anyway, that's why I would pick Caitlin. But for the most part, when I saw Jake's name on there, I was like, oh yeah, easy Jake, because he's a fucking pillar. He's almost like John Jax Jr. Almost.
Right?
When he gets
I'm
older,
back now.
he reached
Please
such a
stop.
status.
Jake, we were talking about how phallic of a pillar you are.
And how we vetoed your non-acceptance.
Exactly.
I knew I shouldn't have invited Sumo Punx and Justin to be on the same episode.
No, see what we're gonna do is we're gonna get Caitlin Jones to strap on the award trophy
So, anyways, we're moving on to vote.
and make you take
Well,
it.
let's
we
hear
are
Caleb's thoughts first.
Take it.
We're putting
Caleb's
this one on
thoughts
YouTube.
first.
We got to keep that down.
Yes, Caleb.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. No, I am not voting for Jake. Jake, I am not voting for you.
Thank you.
No, all the stuff they said was true. You had a great year. You've developed a lot. But yeah, I'm picking Caitlin because Caitlin's not only is the one that first says, "Hey, let me go against the guys." She's also the one that pumps me up because of how hard she wants to go out there and hit somebody, and it really gets me all like fired up when I watch her wrestle. Because like when she started, she wasn't very big or strong in my opinion, but she just keeps chugging along and keeps getting better, and she keeps trying really hard. And it gets me pumped up, so I'm picking Caitlin.
She's honestly been she's been in sumo and a sumo fan for longer than you would imagine.
Yeah.
My very first, when she was in high school, she ended up sending me a picture of me at like that a picture that she took with me in Long Beach in like 2017 or something like that. Like and like me and it was me, Takeshi, and her and or something, and I did not even realize that was the same girl. And
That's awesome.
Wow.
yeah. So she, as a high school student, flew to the US Open and to watch sumo. So she's been a sumo fan for a lot of her teen life and her adult life.
Very cool.
Which is
I did
pretty
not
nuts.
even know that.
I didn't even know that. I didn't she sent me the picture and I was like, oh shit, that was you. And I completely and then it clicked to me. And so she has been a fan of sumo for a really long time and didn't even know that.
That's so cool. All right, so where do you guys want to put your votes on this one?
I still say we veto your non-acceptance.
Yeah, let's see. It's Jake.
Or we could do what the JSA does, because they hand out multiple Gino shows or Shukun shows, so there could be two fighting spirit prizes.
So it
yeah,
sounds
but
like
if we let
It's between
since Jake's going to be in charge, if he does that again, then he's just going to like he did for me last year on the Fighting Spirit Prize, just put the other person there.
there's an idea. There's
Or we could
precedent
just
for
call
that.
it the Jake Poywer Fighting Spirit Award.
Yeah.
Oh man. So Caleb, you were saying, or Justin, you're saying Caitlin. Okay, I was just gonna assemble votes, but now it sounds like we're not sure anymore.
I'm not sure.
I'm still gonna vote.
Over acceptable. I hate Caitlin. So okay. I must pick a Jake.
I want
hate
to vote for Jake
but
just because Jake doesn't want us to
Caitlin
vote for him.
because I hate
Oh,
that.
damn it. Is that how that's going to work for you?
I mean, I wanted to vote for you before I knew you didn't want us to vote
Yeah,
for
that's
you,
true.
but that just makes me want to
When
vote
we
for
saw
you
you on
harder.
we were just like, nah, we're voting for Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck. I'm voting for Jake.
No.
All right.
Yeah. You're
God damn
overridden,
it.
Jake.
Now I'm that guy that hosts a show to give himself an award. Is that what you're
You
going to do
didn't
to
do
me?
it. You fought it tooth and nail. It was all of us that foisted it upon you.
We just
So-
did it without you.
Yeah, we did. You went off to go pee or whatever you were doing.
Take care
And we
of
were
my,
like, no,
my
yeah.
spawn.
Yeah, the second that you left, we were like, okay, so who votes to veto Jake's non-acceptance? And we all
Exactly.
all of us voted.
Most of us.
Only if
Caleb had gone into
gives
this.
the award the right way.
Caleb and Kyle,
that's
where
what you-
are you guys putting your official votes here?
I'm voting for Caitlin Jones.
Caleb, you too?
Caitlin, yeah.
Okay.
Oh crap!
However, Jake, you
It's
deserve it
too.
because you have a picture of my bare ass on your wall, so you deserve the
Right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you guys.
He also stole my national championship trophy, and it's back there too. But you can't see it because it's legs bad.
Yep, that would be
Wait,
Kyle's
guys,
trophy.
so right
I'm
now
gonna
it's actually 2-2.
No, it's 3-2 in favor of me, but I'm gonna vote. I'm also gonna vote for Caitlin. I didn't know all that about like her background and stuff. I think that is very cool, and I'm not just doing that because then it makes it a tie. But it sounds like that makes it a tie.
Let's make it a tie.
It
That means that
does.
there's 2 winners.
So now they have to fight.
If only the editor of the newsletter could make a decision on that.
Yep, I'll have to find some other way to make a decision.
Oh, you shouldn't have put that worm in his brain, Kyle.
Why don't we talk about? All right, so fine. You've made it official against my will. Me and Caitlin will share the Fighting Spirit Award for 2023.
It just means there are 2 Fighting Spirit awards.
I'll be honest. I am very averse to receiving compliments, especially in public. But I do really appreciate that you guys recognize that, because like I wouldn't do a bunch of the stuff that I do if I wasn't having fun. But yes, it is also a bunch of work, and it is
We see
what
the
we're
work that
passionate
you put
about.
into this.
We feel
So
your
that's enough
pain.
of that.
We
All right.
see the work.
Before I make Justin cry, let's talk about Outstanding Club as our next award.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is fine. North Carolina.
Well, we got North Carolina is for sure a nominee. We have Ohio. We have, I guess, what's now called California, because it's not Yamamoto anymore. But we also have
area.
Dallas Sumo Club on here.
Dallas!
Oh yeah.
Point. I want to point. Is Ohio all the Ohio clubs, or is it just one of the Ohio clubs?
They are not distinct enough for me to bother separating them at this
It's
point.
like 3 states in one.
Yeah.
I know. it's
Basically, they're
weird.
spread out over like a couple hundred
fair.
miles, so they just like drive together and meet up.
Then I'm gonna nominate Iron Wave at that point too. So Iron Wave Colorado.
Sir.
Oh man, no. For Ohio, effectively the way that they work is most of their guys are roughly in like the Dayton, Cincinnati, Ohio area. They also have a handful of guys out in Indiana, which is I mean it's kind of like a from Dayton they have like a 2-hour radius roughly. They got a couple guys that live I think technically in Kentucky.
Yes.
But regardless, they train as a group. They have Zekins as a group, which that's as official as you can get, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
Which,
they
for Texas people, we don't understand that because all of your states can encompass Texas.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand that, like how
we're closer together
large-
than you are. Yeah.
Literally,
3
San
states away.
Antonio, Austin, Dallas. That's 3 Midwest. That's 3 states in
Yeah.
between.
Yep.
It's like I just drove 5 hours to another city, but I'm still in the same state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
I can
different
drive
landscape.
down to when I drive down to Dallas from Iowa for a tournament. I might not be the furthest guy who's driving to that, and that other guy might be from Texas.
I know.
So,
True.
That is very
regardless,
true.
just bringing that up because Ohio has definitely grown quite a bit this year.
Oh, yeah.
They have a couple other guys. We already mentioned Ben Lacey. Some of the other staples there. Everybody knows Darius. Jake Book is getting back into it this year after some time off.
He's back.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
We even
Is
got a
he
guy
Hunter?
that
Like,
found
Hunter
amateur
did something?
sumo from listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown and is now one of the best wrestlers in the Midwest. That's Jake Cullison.
Yeah.
And
We had
Hunter.
him on our show a couple episodes back.
Yeah. Oh,
It's very fun.
he's got a great voice, and he's just
Accidentally hung out
Yes.
with him for an extra hour or so after we were done recording.
Yeah, same.
Very easy to do that. And special huge shout out to Hunter out of the Ohio group for
Oh,
putting
yeah,
on his
Hunter.
first tournament this November. And also just being, he probably should have been a Fighting Spirit nominee too, for all the work that he's put in. He's coming off like a life-threatening injury
Yeah.
over the last couple of years and is just going whole hog into sumo now. So
Wow.
that's my plug for my fellow Midwesterners. But yeah, like I said, the other because we can't nominate all 40 some clubs in the country, the ones that we got the most nominations for and the ones that have had the most like actual medals and success and such. Just gonna throw out Rygen, Dallas, California as our other ones. What do you guys think on this so far? Is there anybody that's standing out to you above the others?
So,
Dallas.
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Caleb.
But yeah, Dallas is the first one that comes up to my mind just because their growth has been exciting. But even more than that, they started competing really well this year. Beforehand,
Yes.
they were throwing a lot of people, but their guys were kind of, except for like Jarrett, their guys were kind of like, But this year, they had guys and girls. Oh, we gave them crap last year for not recruiting any girls. Now they have a crap load of girls.
And really talented ones.
And talented girls. God damn it.
Talented.
I'm jealous. San
So
Antonio held the freaking mantle for women's sumo.
I am most impressed with Dallas, and they get my vote this year.
Dallas gets my vote.
Yeah. They
So
also
for
got
me-
Gagamaru to come out for a tournament and do a
Don't worry,
training session with everyone.
Best event of the year is coming up soon, and that one we'll be talking about that one too. But yeah,
No, just to me, it's not just the growth, but the reason that Dallas was able to grow is because Corey and Siggy just put so much of their like body and souls into Dallas Sumo Club
Yes.
to make it as successful as it can be. You know, they're spending hours and hours, unpaid hours and hours.
They're taking risks. They're going on a limb, you know?
They're risking all kinds of shit, but they're doing things. They're making these massive events happen, and they're like drawing a whole lot of attention to to sumo in America. And speaking of that, whereas the Dallas Cowboys are America's football team, I dare say Dallas Sumo Club is America's sumo team. America. I would say the Texas Ichiban as a whole.
I like the Cowboys thing.
I don't have
being
such an
goofy.
attachment to the Dallas Cowboys, but you know, like pew pew, America. I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Jake, how did we get so many Texas people in this group?
yeah, I realize how much I messed up.
Y'all are the only. Oh yeah, y'all
Hey.
are non-Texas.
And of the people that don't live in Texas, you got like me and Kyle as like the two closest to honorary Texas Ichiman people out there.
I was literally gonna say. I was just about to say that shit. I was like,
Exactly.
dude. You, sir, are well, actually, both of you honorary Texans.
Exactly. Like I
Honorary
mean,
Texans.
the only reason I'll
Then
say
give me
no
my
is because
Texas
everything.
State Championship.
Yeah.
Kyle's basically Dallas. He's a Dallas adjacent student.
Yeah.
I've been
no,
to more
it's-
Dallas practices than Iron Wave, which is the worst part about it.
For me, I would happily accept your title of honorary Texan if anything other than sumo was appealing about Texas. But,
Oh, I know.
but the sumo
Amen.
part's pretty
The
good.
food's good.
Civil part, great. Our government, not so great.
But yeah, real quick.
Well, now listen up. Now you're here, Justin.
Oh no,
Listen
no!
here.
I think you're gonna get beat on this one, Kyle.
So
No, I'm not. Watch this. Just
let's talk a
leads
little
to
bit
chat.
more about Raijin in California, just because I feel like there's a consensus developing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Raijin was my other vote, and it's solely from a competition aspect.
Yes.
And it's because you've got Edo, Seth, and Eric, who are three of the top dogs in any weight class in this country.
If they
All of
show
them
up
put
at
on a
all, they are favorites.
So, yeah, all of them put on a show every time they show up, and extremely strong guys. And then what I love about their club, and I'm going to suck Dallas off in a second. The almost homegrown feel of their practices out on the baseball
Yeah.
field, where it feels like the clay feels rough and dirty. It's one of the most fun practices you can go to in the country.
It's like no frills.
Just because it's you go in, you go hard, and you're going to work. So that's why they are my number 2 choice. However, Dallas is still going to take my vote home. And that's just because they actually pulled some competitors out this year too. Like we said, Jared, but also with Hayden, with Itan, with everyone else, all the girls that they've got out this year. When
Lucy.
you have a women's tournament in Texas, they're who you bring. It's Dallas versus Dallas at most of these women's events.
Yeah.
That's why
I think the
almost
Met was
have to have
just
a-
Dallas
I hate
versus
saying
the
that, but
field
yes.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just want to make sure that while we're talking about Dallas, Siggy gets a little bit of extra respect, because she goes so far out of her way to actually message people that, hey, are you coming to the tournament? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And it's almost like almost as bad as Cornelius used to be, where it was he would bother you just make sure you were showing up. And I am in Cornelius's club. That is an important part of that story. I love Cornelius to death. However, just messaging you, hey, we're hosting this event, and the main reason that Dallas is taking it over Raijin for me, A, because they host tournaments, but B, because they host events to actually recruit people. The Anime Dallas that they've done in the last 2
every
years
weekend,
is so much fun.
They
And
put
then
in
all the
for-
other all those other little small events that they do on the random weekends are so much fun to go down to. And then they keep a constant flow of new recruits coming in. So that's why they're getting my vote.
Yeah.
And people don't really like. I just want to, on that note, for Siggy, like, unfortunately, our club doesn't have a Siggy. Like, my wife doesn't want to be the Okami-san of my club. She just,
It's a tall order.
She lets me do my thing, and that is what it is. But there's a difference, because while Corey is out there competing and stuff like that, like, just in this tournament that happened last weekend, I'm sitting there like trying to be in a zone. I need, like, it would have been great to have a wingman or wingwoman that would have been filming all this. I had to thank God, the Mighty Eagle actually took video of the tournament, or else I would have never had, for Dark Circle Sumo, like, it would have never had any footage, because we
did the live stream.
You can't split yourself and be two people, and I think that they are two halves of the same brain in Dallas, and so with Corey and Siggy, it is perfect, and so they, like, not only do they get to compete hard, and also find the right events to be at, but also what we have found highly important is the documentation of their progress, and so most of us don't have that other leg to not only get to the event and do the event and organize the event, but also document it so that later you can, people can find you online. And so they're great. They're a great equal halves of a single lobe of a brain.
And that's why that club gets to be what it is, because they have two people that just bleed.
You're talking about.
Super.
It brings in a lot of new people. The quality of the events that they put on brings in a lot of people. Doing a demo, like 2 days worth of demoing at a huge anime convention. That's not the kind of thing that I'm really seeing a lot of other clubs doing. I'm not trying to talk trash about the demos that the other clubs are putting on, but like, it was like a whole big production. It felt like very professional,
Yeah.
And then, like, with the tournaments and everything too, like they do try to have every minute detail accounted for, and that shows up in the footage that we get from those tournaments and from those events.
Totally. So any dissenting votes other than Dallas? Anybody voting for somebody other than Dallas here? I think that makes it official.
I'm pretty sure.
I did. I guess I had a clear favorite for myself. I didn't realize that the whole group would be so on board. That's awesome. Real quick on California, we do. It's the club formerly known as Yamamoto Sumo Dojo.
Mm-hmm.
Now they formerly known as just the LA Sumo Club.
Yeah,
The LA Club.
But Yama moved out to St. Louis, so Yama is no longer officially with that club, but they are still like practicing as a group. I'm not really sure what the branding will be there, but regardless, big shout out to them as a group, because they're doing something right, because that's where we got Kellyanne, we got Danny Avila, we got Joe Ponsetto, the Del
Justin
Torre
Kizzard.
brothers. That's where Justin, you got your start. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. 3 years.
And Yama does have a new club out in St. Louis as well. It's called Show Me
Show Me
Sumo.
Sumo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still getting their legs underneath them, but yeah, they're working real tight with the rest of us up in the Midwest and
Shit,
Chicago, Indiana, and so on.
Logo, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I have work to do. But sorry.
Either way, though, that California group is still doing something right because, yeah, they have a lot of really powerful, successful wrestlers out there. Let's talk about the best event of the year. And so this one, I hate to limit it. By my count, we had 14 amateur sumo events in the States. And one, that's incredible. That makes me so happy. And two, that means that there's got to be 13 events that were not the best one. Like we have to pick one.
Know which one I'm gonna pick.
Well, we got two Texas ones on here.
Just
Here's our nominees. Here's the ones that we picked as like the top 4 to discuss. We got Roller Town in Dallas. That was where Gagamaru came out, and that was like the team versus team. We got both team captains here. Kyle and Justin were drafted dodgeball style teams and went at it. We have nationals, which Kyle also put that one on along with Iron Wave guys. Cornelius, Karinga, and Ryan White were the other 3 guys working with you to organize nationals in Orlando.
And Jake was a huge help for that. Let's point that out.
I helped like operate. I didn't help organize. That's a big distinction that I hope I continue to stay on the proper side of. But,
I know everyone who organized.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, everyone did a good job on that. Cornelius and Karinga helped out so much on that.
Absolutely. So. And yeah, I mean, there's always a lot of drama that goes into nationals and working with the Fed, but like, as far as like competitors who showed up, went through the event and went home, every one of them was like, wow, that was a pretty solid event. Like it ran smoothly. Everybody knew what was going on. And excellently run nationals for sure. We have the US Open, which obligatory has to be on this list every time. There's thousands of people that show up there, gets eyeballs on it. I know that within our community, there's mixed feelings because it's not as welcoming of a party as a lot of the events, especially you Texans prefer to have a tournament as a warm up to your parties. The US Open is more of a show for spectators, and it's not the same environment. You don't get guys like us getting like involved in helping with the nuts and bolts and building it up. But it is absolutely like the biggest thing that gets views and gets eyes on live sumo matches. And it's pretty cool. We've got a lot of people whose origin story traces back to it. And this year was
and that's fair.
It's not the same as the other tournaments for sure. But yeah, it definitely needs its shout out. And I think Andrew knows how to put on a solid show. And we got guys like Seth from just this year. So it got to get the shout out there for sure.
Yeah, that's actually where Hayden came from too.
Yeah. And then our 4th nominee, since Justin's all salty about this, let's bring it back and say the Consulates Cup is also nominated on here.
Didn't we win last year?
a grassroots, homegrown, tournament. No fancy frills and no
whatever fancy frills you have. Judo.
Yes, there is fancy frills. I mean, we did have a former
in frills.
You had Kokai
and
Zuna.
Well,
the drums.
I guess I'm going to be talking about
a splash pad
in comparison to.
Don't compare it. Talk about what it is on its own, because what you've built down there is awesome. Was this the 3rd one in a row?
This is the 3rd one. I mean, it was born out of an idea, and actually an idea of the president of the Japanese Austin Association, and he kind of pushed me to be like, why don't you host your own tournament? And this was literally in conversation with the consulate of Japan, because I found out that the Japanese consulate was a fan of sumo, And I was like, oh shit. Well, why don't we just call it the Consulates Cup? And that happened. He didn't show up for the first one.
Well, it was
But
COVID,
Still
right?
pretty COVID-y.
Yeah, this was I did. Oh, and there's another thing. Doing all of this like pretty renegade during COVID was insane. That was actually really insane. And the fact that people showed up to the first one, people showed up to compete and still had a handful that had like 25 people sitting in chairs that were far apart, whatever, whatever your weird social distancing.
And how many did you have this year as far as spectators?
Spectators, we clocked out. We sold out. This is the second year that we've sold out of tickets. I need to actually figure out a better seating arrangement because we've sold out.
I still never got my bento box from last year.
No. I'm sorry.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah. How many spectators though? Just for perspective on how it's grown in 3 years.
Well, we're not at the U.S. Open, but
No, I'm
I think about 300 to 400.
there you go. Dang.
Yeah, 300 to 400. Which is, I mean, for if you see the the little rows of seats, no, actually more than that.
There was a lot of people, and they
'Cause there
saw
were a
my
lot of
butt
people.
cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of people walking
not
through
only,
too.
Not only was it
Adopted.
like we sold out of actually it's no, I know the exact number. 426 seats. We had 426 seats, including the VIP. But then we also had hundreds of people, like spectators, on that backside of just people.
Yeah, the little bar area. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is true. But
Tons
it's
of
going
eyes.
every year, and my goal is to reach, which Andrew's got 18 years on anyone.
Yeah, quit comparing it to that. He's been doing this as long as like you've been an adult.
I know.
Like
I know. I just I would like to reach. I would like to reach that level and get it to. I would like to get it to the point. I think Andrew has capped out at about 3,000 spectators. I would like to get to 3,000 spectators, and I
Gonna
would
need
like
a new venue.
Yeah, I was just thinking
no
that.
shit. Yeah,
Right,
I know.
Well,
but
hold on though. Why don't for the
Greenland has been great,
2023
though.
for the 2023 Consulates Cup though, you drew dozens of wrestlers, hundreds of spectators, hell of a show. I always love that you get like the local
International from Georgia.
Yeah,
International.
exactly.
Kokai and Zoda.
former Komusubi. Is that what Kokai?
Kokai
How high
and-
up he got?
And Zuda competed, yeah. And my goal is to have like in this year, 2024, we've already. It is slightly unfortunate because I saw that Poland that Poland is about 40 days away from my tournament.
Oh, so yeah, I might have a little bit of limited on traveling, but
Yeah, but
regardless, I mean, with the trajectory it's going, I'm excited for it. But let's talk more about our 2023 events here, though.
oh, sure.
So yeah, I mean, by all means, one of my favorite things about the Consulates Cup, at least for the last 2 years, you have me show up, and you don't make me do any real work. That's like my favorite part of being there. Is like
because I've OCD'd every single
Exactly.
inch of the fucking tournament for months.
So that's why Consulates Cup and Roller Town are my top two from this year, because I got to show up and work under somebody that is really I don't know if I want to say diligent or anal or both about getting your tournament organized. So when I show up, I just get told where to go and I just do that. That's my favorite tournament to help work at.
Well, I appreciate that.
As opposed to Kyle, I show up and he's like, "Hey, can you help me like do the whole thing?"
Do everything. Hilarious. Well,
Yeah.
That's all the reaction
So
I
in
got
my
out of you,
defense,
Kyle.
Since Justin got to defend his tournament, give me 1 second on mine.
You did awesome at Nationals. But yeah, go for
It's
it.
an extremely difficult tournament to host. You have to deal with some very fun people that try to ruin the whole tournament for you. We had over 300 matches that day that we had to conduct according to the rules of the sport. So unfortunately, where you've got tournaments like Justin's where you can have a bunch of cool stuff in the middle. Nationals, we don't have that option because we're already there for 12 hours of matches. And we have to have a specific doyo. We can't run 2 doyos because we can't get a second doyo down there. So unfortunately, there's just a lot of matches that need to get done. And considering we had our venue taken away from us, and we had to find a new one at the last second, move a bunch of stuff around. Oh yeah, that was a fun deal. Get everything moved around. I think we did a pretty good job, but I definitely think that events like Roller Town and Consulates were so much better from a competitor and a viewer viewpoint. I view nationals almost like I view the US Open in wrestling. It's the finals are fun to watch, but no one really, as far as just coming out and watching it, you're there for 9 hours of wrestling. It's a great tournament. You're going to get your matches there. However, if your goal is to go out there and we're going to have a fun time and watch a whole tournament, that's not the tournament for it. It's just there for you're getting your matches in. The tournament's purpose is to qualify for Worlds and crown the national champion.
And there's a lot of specific rules that go into how you do that. That really, it's very constrained in the way that it has to be run, and it's more of like a very, very difficult but rewarding task. Whereas like some of these other events are more like, let's put on as fun of a show and a party as we can. So they're not necessarily in the same category.
I will say to my defense, in 2020, I did host nationals, and it was fun as fun.
I remember I won them.
I know. And
that trophy right there.
I just want to say there is a way to make it fun.
Yeah.
No, you did a phenomenal job, but I also had 200 more matches than you, and I had to host the whole second tournament.
Yeah,
on a day's notice.
Yeah,
that was rough.
But my point is,
both events were great. But I'm just I appreciate, Kyle, that you are defending why it's a different type of thing.
It's a different beat.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's like the ruling body has to get involved.
I do want to just point out, since you wanted to come at me, Justin, we had to host North Americans too on literally 3 days' notice.
Yeah. The second a single Canadian shows up, it's like, well, I guess we got to hold a whole new bracket.
We had to run what was it? 6 extra brackets? 7 or 8.
We had to do the combined middleweights for Riyadh. Then we had to do women's light, women's open. I think it was just those 4 extra brackets. But then we also had 4 youth brackets in between that we didn't have to do at prior nationals because we haven't had youth in years.
That's true.
So yeah.
The youth were so little in other nationals, they just fought adults and they were youth winners. That's just what they were.
That's true.
But let's get to Go ahead, Kyle. Last point here.
I'm getting to. That's why for my vote, to move it on. I'm going to go ahead and vote for Roller Town because the concept of that tournament, where it's, and no hate to Justin's tournament. Justin's tournament is literally my second favorite tournament of all time. The concept of Roller Town, where it's go in, you're on a team and you're just fighting the other team and you're going, it creates that sense of camaraderie. That was so much fun. And then also the event, Roller Town is one of my favorite event, venues that I've ever competed at because I've been there 3 times now and it's probably my favorite venue just because the people there that run it are great people. It's a brewery, so they've got a ton of free beer for the competitors, allegedly.
Say, I had to pay for all mine.
No, wait a minute. What?
Dude, the merch.
Kyle got a medal though, so they just kept refilling his beer.
The merch.
No, that's not why. It's actually because
the rub in there with Jake.
No, it's because of the first year when I went down there for the demo. The first year when I went down there for the demo and I was there just wrestling all day, they just really liked me after that, so they remember me for some reason.
Yeah, one real important thing to note for all of you looking to host your own tournament. These 2 tournaments are legendary already because the after party was at the same venue.
Yeah.
That was critical in how big of a party that both those events turned into. What is going on behind you, Justin?
See that?
What the fuck? I don't know.
Do this again. Do
That
this
was my
again.
aura, dude. What the?
Do this again.
I saw that.
Did you just like
You
manifest
like Super
excitement?
Saiyan
Like,
or something?
I didn't do that. I powered up, dog. I just. Wait.
Okay, well that's it.
Oh,
Conflicts
it didn't
wins.
happen again.
yeah. All right, so
What?
it sounds like we're between the two of them, and hopefully we figure out what the hell happened on Justin's computer there. But between the two of them, I'm going Roller Town this year. Kyle, sounds like you're Roller Town.
I'm
I am-
Roller Town just because I got to watch Gaga Maru dance to Dr. Dre. And
Yes.
You know what? That's
Yes,
fair.
he did.
That's
Yes,
absolutely
he
fair.
did.
I also got to know people a lot better at that tournament. Not just like competitors, but a lot of sumo fans. I've got to know a lot better. And then, like friends and family members of the competitors as well. It was just, I don't know, it was a good old down home time, but
It was very
also
community
a
building.
huge event.
Yeah.
Very
That-
community
and-
building. Yes, that's the term.
I will Roller Town on one. Okay, the one thing that I think we're about equal on is like what happens after sumo. Like I think Jake put it best. Sumo is the prequel. Like sumo is like the
warm-up.
precursor to what to what really happens afterwards. Like all the dumb stuff and crazy fun conversations that you have afterwards. So in that sense, I think it's equal. This hurts, but I want to.
You guys made me accept my own award. You can talk about your event and positive. It's totally
No,
fine.
I'm not going to talk about my event. I'm actually bigging up.
Okay,
no
gotcha.
one in the U.S. has had a more unique and more exciting tournament than Roller Town. I've never, and I hate saying it, but I'm also the type of person that needs step outside of myself and say, okay, look at these things like quantifiable. And as one of me and Kyle, we're both team coaches. It's never been that exhilarating to literally play a fucking video game and choose your team.
Yeah.
And because I'm looking over at Kyle's looking over, I was just like, oh yeah, you picked that one. I got this one, and it was just it
I'm
was
gonna pick the other Garza.
We were given radio hosts as people that were giving our
Yeah, Ben and
Stirring the
Skin.
pot.
yeah.
Ben and
who-
Skin.
not-
Yeah.
Justin and I are not living in Dallas. I don't know who these guys are, and they're talking to us
Yeah.
they're
I
just
know what the fuck these guys
they're
are.
trying to put on a show, and then it's I'm just picking it. Whoever Justin picks, I'm picking in response to. And then Caleb was upset at me because it's he didn't get picked towards the end. And it's why do you think I didn't pick you, Caleb? Because I wanted to fight you.
Except my Saki and Sumo co-host and
Oh!
Sumo friend of the world didn't
Listen,
near the end.
I was in this weird. I was in a zone. I was in Kyle's head. Kyle was in my head.
You told me what you thought about my sumo that night, and that's
No, I did not. No, I did not, sir. I did not.
But, even though Roller Town broke my heart in so many ways, I got 11-1 in the matches, and I was like, I got this. And then I lost to Kyle and Hayden in the playoffs to get nothing, and then just nothing that day. And I was like,
You murdered that day. No. You did really good that day.
You did do really freaking
but
good.
I got nothing. It broke my heart, dude. I was like, well, maybe I'll get one of the special awards. No, okay, heartbroken. But at the same time, even with the heartbreaking, best tournament. It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun.
I love tooting my own horn, but
I voted for Constance Cup last year.
Dallas,
Yeah.
you got it.
I
God
killed
damn
this
it.
year.
Yeah.
It's Roller Town. It's definitely
It's Roller Town.
I just hope that Justin, I just hope you and Corey continue this arms race of tournaments and just keep building on it every year. So, speaking of Corey, we're gonna move on to Coach of the Year.
Don't sleep on the Met, Jake. I know you ignore San Antonio, but don't sleep on the Met.
I'm coming to San
The
Antonio.
Met was amazing. That was
Speaking of
fun.
unique-
That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm racking
I'm
my
super
entire
excited
brain
for it
trying
for
to
next
figure out
year.
these teams. God damn it!
So speaking of Corey, we're going to move
Okay.
on to the category that he won last year, the Coach of the Year, our final award of the night. So this is another one that like we could just nominate 50 people here. This is a massively wide net. I'm going to burn through a couple of these because we're inevitably going to spend like half an hour on this. Put your shirt down, Justin.
Hey, all right. I'm just throwing bribes out there. Throwing bribes out there.
All right, so I'm going to get through the ones that we have written down. If you guys want to add any or if you want to have any points on them, by all means, bring them up after. But let me just read
I vote
through
for
and go
Jake.
quick. Stop it. And do a quick overview of who's who. So, like I said, Corey won this last year. He's the coach of Dallas. He ran the Rollertown Showdown and the Cowboy Cup this year and turned Dallas into quite the powerhouse of a club that has already won Club of the Year.
Which by proxy is also me.
Next
That's true.
nominee, we have
That is true.
Next nominee, we have Nate Hudson out of Tennessee. Nate is his big achievement in coaching this year is he put on the first all youth tournament in the U.S. here, at least continental U.S. in modern times. I'm sure Hawaii has done some stuff like this in the past, but
Well, and
that's
the
the
other
big
big thing
one.
about that tournament was it was actually sanctioned by the high school, and that
Right.
was the big important thing about it.
It's like an
Was it
it's
was
an
actually a
officially high school club.
sanctioned sport. Yeah,
Which those things are not easy to do. If you've ever,
No, they are not.
things are
Yep.
not easy.
yeah. Justin and I both, or Jake and I both went down there and saw the red tape that Nate was jumping through, and that was insane.
Man.
That's actually why he was nominated. I nominated him because of the work he did for that tournament in
Or the
specific
Kuma
and
Sumo Bash.
for
yeah.
those kids. So yeah.
Next up, Mark Jones, also as already won our men's wrestler of the year, but is also on here for coach of the year for all the work that he's been doing locally with the kids. We have Yama on this list. Yama is on here. As we mentioned before, Yama moved from California to St. Louis this year, but his teaching is what led that club to be the powerhouse that it is out in California. And that paid off with Kellyanne's incredible success this year. So straight from Kellyanne, Yama deserves a huge amount of that credit as well. So that's why he's on this list. We
I
got
mean,
Matt-
honestly, Yama, when you look at lineage, like if you look at the branches of in the tree, it all like a lot of the like pretty much anybody who's ever been on a world team mostly branches out from him.
Sure.
And you've got OC Sumo, you've got Honu Sumo, and you've got Dark Circle Sumo that have branched from his
directly.
teachings.
Yeah.
And then Dallas through me through Yama kind of thing. And so it
The expansion in the Midwest this year, he's helping out with that a lot.
and
Yeah.
now and the new his new Midwest branch, well, I mean, I guess I just explained my
It's
I don't-
speaking
but
of the
I'm just
Midwest,
saying, like
though.
if you honestly just
Oh, Justin, we got a lot more.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
to go through.
We'll come back to Yama for sure. Because I know he's definitely in the running here. But speaking of the Midwest, we got Matt Shields on here. Matt is working with Yama quite a bit. Matt is the leader of Chicago Sumo Club. And the main reason I have him on here is that Matt started sumo last summer at JFAX in Grand Rapids. The next time he did sumo was the Consulates Cup last year. And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know any of you. I'm just going to come down and wrestle. And we all got to meet him. And he just
drink my lord.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But at that point, he was just like, I put on a mawashi and I go do sumo exercises in the park. And now at the end of 2023, he's got like 5 to 10 guys that keep showing up at his practices. They travel to St. Louis. They practice with a former Maegashira in Yama all the time. Matt he put in the work. He did the job. He did what you got to do.
To Canada for the Hakuho
To
thing.
meet Hakuho. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt has put in the real work and it is delivering. And he's one of my nominees that I put on here for sure. We also have John Jocks, who since coming back to sumo in the last couple of years has just gone headfirst into advising as many people as possible.
He really, and he
America's coach.
yeah, yes, he's America's coach because he doesn't necessarily even have to physically be there. He keeps up with everyone, and not just on a general level, like, hey, hope you're doing well kind of thing. Like, he watches you. I got a message from him. I got a message from him on Monday, and he was like, yo, Justin, like, how's your leg doing? I saw your match with Jared Parham, and I saw you got really injured. Like, I mean, the guy, he's America's coach. He's America's dad. And like, I don't know, like, he's a dad I wish I had. And like, and
he's a real.
I never thought about him as like in like, coach of the year kind of thing. But in a sense, the dude keeps up with everybody. Yes. I'm sure each one of you have probably had a actual, not, surface conversation. He actually like knows something about you.
Yeah.
And what has happened to you like recently. It's not just, hey, how's it going?
And he's making some tagatas to help launch the Wrestlers Association.
Hell yeah.
Reach out to me or George Ferris if you want one of these. But yeah, John Jocks has some tagatas out there. But yeah, so we got a couple more nominees we wanted to run through real quick. JJ Jones running Honu Sumo out of San Diego.
That's fair.
Yeah, put on their first event in February of last year, and they're going to do it again this coming year.
Malik.
Malik. Christina going out to Japan, helping with he and Menken work together a lot on coaching.
Yes.
Honu Sumo is he's really brought that club up from just him and his wife doing fun stuff, and now it's become like a team, a force, and that is primarily JJ's doing there.
And especially since Yano left, Kellyanne's been going down there and working with him a lot.
I was just
her judo and everything, and you can definitely see some improvement as far as her balance and everything since she started doing that.
Yep,
it has become in the transition of Yama. It has become kind of the proxy dojo for LA. A lot, like all the De La Torres go down there. Kellyanne, like a bunch of people, Joseph Ponsetto, he was down there a lot training for Worlds and stuff. And so San Diego has been the substitute home for the LA team.
Right. And JJ joined Christina and Menken in Japan, helping coach up the rest of the team as well.
And translate.
So
Menken, of course, Menken translating for the team.
Mm-hmm. We also got Cornelius on here. Cornelius Booker out of Florida.
Them cheeks.
Cornelius, as mentioned with Kyle, helped put on nationals. He also put on the Olympia event this last month. Gonna do that thing where I just turn Justin's camera off again if he's gonna take this into R-rated territory.
I'm sorry.
No, Cornelius is I mean, everybody, we talked a little bit about how like Ben Shutko was everybody's little brother. Cornelius is another guy that's like everybody's brother. He's
100%.
a precious national treasure that must be protected.
I've heard many a sumo origin story that involves Corny.
Exactly. Corny is a guy that will, if you express interest in sumo, he is the guy that will follow up with you and make sure that you try it. He will, he travels all the time, which we bring up for a lot of the guys that are very dedicated. He's another guy that will just teach you no matter what, whether you want to or not. You will learn stuff just by being around him in a sumo setting.
He has been my brother from another mother for the past 6-7 years. I think I want to say my very first tournament, 2017, February 2017. He was my very first match and the very first I didn't know anything. And I went down there it was just me and Andrew from Los Angeles, and I beat Corny that year. And ever since that, he's like, wait, what the like? Who are you? He's like,
He took it
I remember
personally, and he wasn't going to let that go, was he?
After the tournament, he was like, "I want a rematch," and I beat him again, and that started our love for each other.
But specifically for 2023 here, we're nominating him because of the tournaments that he has put on, and even if it's less of a formal coaching setting than some of these guys, he is helping coach everyone spiritually.
And he is also one of the coaches for Iron Wave. Iron Wave is a pretty large club.
Yeah.
Sure.
So where is he working with people locally specifically, or just in Orlando?
He is the head of the Panama City branch, which is Jordan Sykes, who is a killer.
Right. Okay.
You have had the pleasure of wrestling him. He has a couple guys that work out there with him. He does not handle the Orlando side, but he does travel out to Orlando every couple of weeks to work out with Coringa and that crew. Who was the
but still, he's legit the for the state as a whole. He's the founder of sumo for Florida, and I know it branched off into three.
There's a couple, yeah.
There's Ronin. There's
Ronin, Gorilla, and Iron Wave down in Florida.
Yeah,
and
so it branched off into four. But Corny by far, dude was solo for it was him and even before Jordan Sykes, he got lucky with Jordan. It was him and one other person for the longest, and he was just he was strudging along really trying to grow sumo in Florida. And so most people don't really know how hard he's had to work, but he is really he's been unwavering in trying to grow Florida sumo. Yeah. And so the fact that you got Coringa as a national champ, Coringa's ex, whatever that is, as also a national champ, and of course we've got Mark Jones. People don't really a lot of people are new to sumo in the last 2-3 years maybe, but have not really actually seen how long he has really put in work to grow. It was so hard in Florida.
Okay, but we got 2 more nominees before we even talk about.
Sorry. We can tell you have a lot of love for him.
I'm sorry, I have a lot of love for them too.
Let's talk 2 more nominees, and then let's decide who we think deserves the award. We got Nick Tan out of Shogeki Sumo in Houston. Just this last week put on his annual event. I believe this was his second time doing it, but the first time that it was called the Texas Classic. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a long story in itself.
What is that? And
it's a long story in itself.
Longer story than we should do right now.
It's a long story for another day. Next nominee is
broken down really fast. Texas Classic used to move around to all the major cities, and then it was just San Antonio. And then when we started doing the Met, now Houston decided to take over Texas Classic. There, short.
Okay, that works.
So that was a really good recap.
It was still a really fun tournament too. I mean, there was all kinds of chonko that they were making, and
we're gonna have to cover the tournament another time. But Nick himself has done a great job of banding together a group down there and keeping a regular group. I know Houston has had sumo in the past, but this current iteration is Nick's baby. And between him and Jake and Paul as kind of his other 2 guys that are backing him up. There you go. That really turned it into a fully viable, equal partner to the other 3 clubs in Texas there. The other 3 major cities that you guys have. All 4 of your major cities have a very worthy club and worthy coach leading the way on all of it. So I think Nick is absolutely worth mentioning here.
And was able to get the only youth women's competitor to world.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah. So. True.
And last nominee we have on here is Kyle. You had this one here late.
Eric Wynn.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Coach, Eric is. I guess I'm kind of curious here. You probably know more than me how Raijin Sumo works, but Eric is like the face of the club, right? How does that work as far as like coaching and stuff? What do they do specifically?
They're like ninjas.
They just go out and work, and they work hard. That's all I care about.
Sure.
That's
Are they like a non-hierarchical sort of?
I don't know. I haven't
consistent
been to any of their private practices other than their the training camp they put on last year, or earlier this year. However, he is kind of the face as the coach over there, I believe, with Jared or
Yeah.
someone else.
The guy with
Yeah.
the mustache
Yeah,
Yeah,
mustache
Jared,
man.
and the buns.
So
Oh yeah.
just putting on a whole lot of events, or not a whole lot of events, putting on a whole lot of good wrestlers. And when I think coaching, I think highest level results, and that's who I'm thinking of. So that's why I put him on.
Yeah. You really can't fuck with Eric Wynn's fucking wrestlers. Like
Yeah.
those dudes are hard as
Yeah.
the nail.
Quality over quantity for that one. God damn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that that's definitely an important side of things. I think for me, I could be swayed, but I think right now I'm leaning towards Matt Shields as my coach of the year, mainly for the growth of the club. Chicago has become a club as opposed to just become a logo that he puts on his own stuff when he goes to practice alone in the park.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I feel comfortable making a joke about that now is because it's not that anymore. He put in the time, he put in the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears until he has a club. He brought guys to multiple recent tournaments and got medals for them, and they're having competitive success. Every single tournament that I've seen Matt at, he has tied a Mawashi on a stranger. And that is another thing that is like instrumental to growing a club and becoming a force is exposure, friendliness, get people interested. When you see somebody interested, he always jokes that once he gets somebody on the hook, he's going to tie a Mawashi on that person. Like if somebody's walking by the tournament, if we're some of the tournaments we've had out in the park, if somebody walks by and like maintains eye contact and is not like looking away, pretending to not see what's going on, he's like, that guy. I'm gonna go talk to him about sumo. All right. Well, that's where I'm at right now. What else you guys got?
Is for Eric Wynn. Like just put numbers on the board. That like I said, quality over quantity. Like I watch everybody's Keikos, that anybody who actually posts their Keikos on online, I watch and can see overall I don't see a bad one. And I don't want to say bad, like, because bad is subjective, but I don't see a non. How does I don't
He's
whatever. I don't see a bad one. I don't see a bad one in the bunch. Their core guys that come every single week, killers, and there's a energy about their club that I envy, and I haven't said that ever.
Okay, no,
No, I know that energy you're talking about, though. It's palpable.
Yeah. It's in the eyes. You can see it.
No frills. It's work. They're just working.
Mhm.
Caleb, who do you got?
I have John Jacks.
Shit. There's also that.
Like that, like
No wrong answers here.
kind of what Kyle said. Put on tournaments is kind of cool and events and things, but I don't really factor that into the coach of the year for me. It's mainly coaching, a little bit recruitment, because that's a huge important part of coaching, because if you're a crappy coach, people aren't going to keep coming back. But John has helped out everybody this year. It's also this year, and everybody has talked to me about how John has helped them this year. Even Mark, me and Mark Jones have talked many times how John has like, this is what you need to do. I watched your videos. This is what you're doing wrong. Okay, how are you feing right now? Is your legs are doing okay? talking to Justin about his leg the day after the tournament, and he talked to me about it. He was like, you think he's okay? And I said, I don't know. He won't go see a doctor, but I think he's okay. But
I'm okay.
he talked like I said before the most important tournament of my career so far, which was this week in Houston Sunday. We talked on the phone for like an hour before that night beforehand. He has been huge, and his push for youth has been very important. He's a huge reason why Mark Jones is getting all his youth people, because John said get youth. So yeah, so John Jacques is my vote for as Sumo Punx nicely put it, America's sumo coach, John.
Sumo Punx, who are you
America's
thinking
sumo
for this
dad.
one?
Well, about John Jacques, I also just wanted to say another dadly property that he has is that he likes to argue with people on Facebook and show them how stupid they are. By the way, the earth is round. But I am honestly kind of torn between Matt Shields, who's an absolute weirdo goofball, and
He drinks Malort.
best
He drinks
kind.
fucking Malort.
yeah. But the way that he's grown his club, the way that he's just so excited about sumo, it's like he found this thing and he made it his thing, and he just throws his entire being into it. And I think that has attracted a lot of people, and it's been a big reason why his club has grown so much this year, is he's just got that spirit that draws people in. So it's a toss-up for me between him and Yama, just because, talking to Kellyanne and talking to Brenda and hearing the stories from them about him, and he
like the phone call after Kellyanne got the
that's exactly what I was thinking about. And he was like shedding tears after she won at was it the World Sumo Championship? Yeah. And even though he had already moved to St. Louis by then and wasn't even part of the Yama Sumo Dojo anymore, which held his name, and just all that he's been through over this year, like it takes a lot of guts to break away from something that you've been a part of for so long and say, you know what, this just isn't working for me anymore, and then move halfway across the country,
start over. But he's so passionate that he's starting it again. Yeah,
exactly. So I wish Show Me Sumo all the best. Can't wait to stop by there on our way to where are we going to see her? I always get Tennessee and Kentucky confused. I'm sorry. They're basically the same state to me.
Yeah.
Tennessee,
I hope
that's
you're not
what I
driving
thought.
through St. Louis on the way there. That wouldn't make
Yeah,
much
I
sense.
want to try to stop by there
I will build.
and see him, but I really can't decide between those two.
Well, why don't we
what
see?
Do you say?
Yeah, Matt, what do you say? And then if it comes down to a tiebreaker or something, Sabrina, maybe you'll have to make a pick.
Yeah.
But hearing Sabrina, I'm sorry, I do want to change. I want to change my vote back to, like, I don't know. I got really emotional hearing Sabrina talk about Yama, and so I will change my vote back to Yama. So sorry.
Very good, Matt. What you got?
He's my senpai, so I'm
yeah, and he's my great grand senpai. No, but honestly, given everything, John Jacques, he is, everybody's sumo dad. He's actually helped me through like a couple of personal issues. I'm like, damn, I was having a rough time. John Jacques, helped me
talk to you about those.
He helped me like just kind of analyze the situation and work through it, and that was valuable to me. And I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. And yeah, he's just an upstanding dude too. Matt Shields, Matt Shields is a gem and he's a mensch, and I'm proud of his accomplishments. Yama, honestly, with all of this said, everything being discussed, my vote has to go with Yama. So,
Because you said JJ before. You didn't even mention him just now.
This conversation has
I
definitely
forgot
been
about JJ because
But
there's so
the
many of
thing
these
is,
competitors,
JJ
and I've just been so emotional on this emotional roller coaster.
It's okay. You can
wouldn't
change
be
your vote if you
anything
want.
without Yama. JJ wouldn't be anything without Yama. I wouldn't be
That's
anything
true.
without Yama. Like,
Just to bring it to a consensus, I'm going to go ahead and change my vote over to Yama, and I'm going to use my same reasoning I chose for Eric, and that's results. You've got Joe Ponsetto, you've got Justin Kizzert, you've got two-time world medalist this year, Kellyanne Ball.
Danny.
That's all I need, in my opinion. Danny Avila. All of these guys are killers. So, in my opinion, Yama fits every criteria I have for a great coach. He is giving results, and that's all I care about. And that, just so we can make a consensus, I have no problem at all with Yama as a good coach.
Yeah, that's really the way I was leading too.
Sorry, Eric. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, John. I think it's got to be Yama then. That's the story about him being brought to tears by Kellyanne's win. Yeah, I mean that just kind of puts it in perspective, like how much he cares there. Like I think that's got to be it, right?
Because they were in the middle of practice when he found out, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what she said, and he just had to stop and walk away, and like,
that's so cool.
It gets me right here.
It does. Hearing that story, come from Kellyanne and Brenda, it really did. Just like I was like, oh, my feels, and I just hearing her bring it up again. I was like,
my stupid feels.
I know.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap it up here with let me go through our winners real quick, and then there's just a couple others that I feel like absolutely needed to be shouted out this year. Feel free to add on, but let's do that after a quick recap of the wins.
Yeah, I just want to give one little shout out to John since he did one. I did want to say thank him for getting the USA team to the Bay to practice.
That's right. That was him.
Yes.
That was him that did that. So thank him for that.
Hell yes.
right.
So, women's wrestler of the year. This one, like we mentioned at the top of the show, almost 3 hours ago.
Oh God, damn, we've been on for a minute.
Not a lot of drama there. That one was unanimous. Kellyanne Ball is your women's wrestler of the year.
Yay!
Women's youth wrestler of the year. The John Jocks Award goes to Zeus Whittington out of Houston. Our men's wrestler of the year, Mark Jones out of Gorilla Sumo in Daytona Beach.
Woo!
Not next year, Edo.
Edo got it last year. He's fine.
Yeah.
Men's youth wrestler of the year. The second John Jocks Award of 2023, Ben Shutko of Iron Mountain Sumo. Our technique prize does go to Edibo Kanyeha out of Raijin. Outstanding performance, Hayden Southall out of Dallas. Fighting spirit goes to Caitlin Jones, and that's it, out of Dallas.
Jake. The Jake
And
point
me. Like I said, really do appreciate it, guys. But yeah, I'm awful at accepting compliments.
Yay for Jake and yay for Caitlin too.
Outstanding club, Dallas.
Woo!
Best event, also Dallas. We got Roller Town. And then coach of the year, we're giving that one to Yama out of formerly Yamamoto and currently Show Me Sumo Club. So here's my list of quick shout outs. If you got any more, feel free to add. Just keep them short because it is my bedtime. But got to shout out Kaylin of Iron Mountain Sumo. That's Ben's mom, who drags him all around the country and is another one of those sumo evangelists.
Sumo Mom of the Year.
I have to say she's Sumo Mom of America. That's what she is.
Yeah, it's true.
She was the one that was mostly taking care of Zeus when they were out in Japan too.
Yes.
So yeah.
It is
And she helped
a
me paint my house.
What?
Yes. You see the pictures and the videos and stuff? Yes.
No. And this young man right here, this little turd right here, definitely using his beautiful what do you call it?
height.
Didn't even have to use a goddamn little ladder. He was like, "Oh, you need me to paint that ceiling?" Oh, right. I was like,
So I want to point something out about that. I was in the middle of doing major home renovations, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited I get to take a weekend off. Finally, go down to Texas and do sumo. And Justin's like, hey, while you're waiting for your plane, you want to paint my house?
Man, I'm glad I got the flight out of there that I did. But yeah, it
he
would
wasn't
be
in about it. We grabbed a beer too, but it was just hanging out. I had nothing better.
it would be a 2-woman race for Sumo Mom of the Year, Siggy and Kaylin, and I think third place is miles behind.
Zombie Mom got it all the way though.
Just like every year, we got to make sure that we can't go a year of thanking people for sumo contributions without bringing up Tom Zabel out of San Antonio. Yep. Pretty much all the things that we said about John Jocks about being everybody's sumo dad. A lot of that applies to Tom as well, running stuff down in San
We can have
Antonio.
2 dads.
Nothing
Let's
wrong with
have
that. It's 2023. Got to shout out Megan, Yama's wife, for just helping. Yama would not be able to do all the traveling and do all the communicating and just organizational stuff without Megan. So she is instrumental for that. Same kind of goes for Belinda out of Ohio Sumo. That's Ben's wife. I don't know how I would run a newsletter if I didn't have pictures from Belinda from all of the Midwest tournament stuff.
Also Brenda.
Yep.
Kelly
There you go.
Ann's.
Brenda has to be shout out. Yeah.
Oh, Brenda. Yes.
I take it back. There's a 3-woman race for Sumo Mom of the Year because Brenda's
Mawashi Mommy.
Yes.
and haven't called out Grand Rapids Sumo all that much here. Grand Rapids, that's Gabe Unick, Micah Hepler, and Will Campbell's also helping out a lot these days in that group. They put on 2 tournaments this year, and they're planning to do it again next year. That club has kind of come out of nowhere in the last 2 years, and Gabe's been doing it for a long time, I know, but like organizationally and tournament wise, big step up. So gotta shout them out. Who else we got? Caleb, you got somebody?
I got a shout out. Since he says he's semi-retired, I'm shouting out Kyle, not just for this year, but for last few years. Just
lifetime achievement.
A beast in the sumo ring. I do hope you come back to Rollertown at least, because
I'm gonna make sure to hit Rollertown or Constance every year. Those are my favorite tournaments.
I'm gonna miss you, dude. And I was a toe away from getting you again this year, Constance. Toe away.
and
a lot, dude.
I hope you and I can crash together at SoCal in San Diego. So
when is that SoCal?
End of February.
Oh, I'm in Mexico, buddy. I got a tournament.
Well, I enjoyed you as a roommate. I'm just saying.
I haven't shared a hotel with Kyle since September. Wow, that feels like a long time. That's like the longest stretch in our relationship.
And just because I'm not going to be competing as much doesn't mean I won't be attending tournaments. I may just show up and help run tournaments.
Yeah, but I like fighting you, Kyle.
Caleb is being very selfish right now. Caleb is like selfishly he wants to compete with you.
Someone else who I do want to give a shout out to, not as nice as Caleb, is George Ferris, trying to put together the Wrestlers Association, trying to get all that going, give us a little bit more of a community vibe. Similar deal with Marky Moss, getting a lot of the club leaders together, letting everyone know, and then also handling a lot of the website, trying to get everyone in touch without too much help from the federation as a whole. So I just wanted to shout both those guys out for trying to help bring the actual community together without having to rely solely on the federation.
Yes.
And real fast, Kelly Ann's 401 Sumo.
Sumo 411.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. 401, yeah, it's huge. And I've used it to get people really interested in sumo because they can like look up what the tournaments are.
Exactly.
Just had to point that out since we were talking about that.
Yeah, because the USSF used to have that as a feature on their website, and it was not updated ever. And now it's not relied on them at all.
Old USSF.
Yep. Hey, that's half the reason I started doing newsletter stuff was like,
true.
It's not going to happen if I don't just do it. So I might as well just do it. And that's,
by the way, I am much more free now to write articles for you if you need me to.
Oh, thank Christ.
Just let me know what you need.
Yeah. Well, among other things that we're looking forward to in 2024, look to see more Sabrina in the newsletter. Look to see another successful Consulates Cup. What is going on with your Zoom? Is this like all hand
signals and things happen?
I'm learning new things.
How did
Let's see if this happens. Okay, nothing happened.
You only happens when you don't want it to happen.
All right.
get
Well,
all the
I'm gonna
cool
turn off the recording here because we're just gonna play with Zoom the rest of the night. But thanks again, everybody, for joining me. This is Jake signing off. Thanks for joining us, Kyle. We had Sake and Sumo, Justin and Caleb. Thanks for joining us, and the Sumo Punks, Matt and Sabrina. Thanks for an awesome
Bye,
year.
guys.
And we'll check in next year. Let's see, what do we got next? I think we got the Kuma Sumo Bash. We got youth tournament coming up next.
See you next year.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.